Just making sure the mic sounds good. You all like how the mic sounds? Just making sure before we dive right in, you can hear me clearly. That you can all. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so. Oh, well, that's the end of the song. That's how it ends. That's underwhelming. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I thought we'd have like a little bit of a finale at least, not like a little puttering out of like nothing there. Fine, I guess I'll just move away from the this screen. I'm sure everyone noticed early on too. I forgot to like switch before starting the stream. I'm like, oh, hastily go to start soon setting. Cool. Can everyone hear me? Everyone hear me clearly? Good, and good. Oh. Hello there, Nick Wolf. Thank you for 9 months of membership. That's deeply appreciated. What's this, an angel? Don't want religion in my game. Oh my goodness, the mic is unsteady where it stands, but that's okay. We can make it work. Worst case is dips into my tea. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming back after a couple weeks away. I had to take care of a few things, mainly spend an entire weekend in a hospital with my spouse as she gave birth to our fantastic son. Thank you, everyone, so much for sticking with us through this time. It's been a lot, but unfortunately, we also haven't been streaming a lot, which means my spouse wants me to make money somehow. So there we go. Gotta do some streams. I'm just kidding. I love this all. I love this to hell and back. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We have a decent stream planned for today, and that I'm going to make it up to go along, and hopefully it all works out. But it's been a very eventful couple of weeks. I'm not sure if you heard, but I am now a father. Yes, everyone in chat's now saying that. I love it.
The Gaming Truge super chatted $3. I can't believe Boku no Pico is political.
Boku no Pico is very political, you would argue. I mean, an LGBTQA show in the middle of the 2000s, that's a big deal, even if it is Boku. I'm kidding. That's a terrible joke. Boku no Pico is heinous. But yeah, no. Oh, Cloud Parade. Thank you for being a member for 5 months. Congrats, Aunt. Hope everything is well. Everything is well, thankfully. My sleep schedule is not, but I wasn't sleeping anyway. That's how I made all these videos all this time. So, I'm not sure if you all saw, I put out a video today on Tim Burton. This was going to be planned, this was my planned video for Friday, but we amped up a little bit early because of a sponsorship deal.
The Misnik fan super chatted $10. Take this for the diaper fund.
Necessary.
Also, whatever naysayers might say, anime's always been political.
Yes, so on that note, yes, please fund our diaper goals. In chat, you can see the goals on the top of the screen. Hopefully you can hit that. But yeah, no, I'm going to be honest with you. Anime, in fact, all media, I've said this a few times in videos. People have given me a hard time for it. All art is political in that it reflects the era in which it's made. So that's to say, any art of any kind, any movie, book, show, comic, it's made in a society, made in an era, made with environmental factors, and all art reflects that to some capacity. All art is a political creation, especially in eras where art is censored, art is restricted, and art is held back from being what it can be. But some art is also overtly political with intentionality. And that's, I think, what people talk about when they talk about politics. We ignore the intentionality of the politics of art. And I saw Angels and Gaming things for months.
DB, DU5L super chatted $5. Cheers for the ant. Here is a tip for the baby food on top of the dippers.
Thank you. Thank you for the help with the dippers and the baby food. And Angels and Gaming, thank you for being a member for 11 months. Congrats on being a dad. Right now, I am poor. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to, listen, you guys being here is enough. The money's also nice, but you guys being here to listen to my ridiculousness day in and day out, that's worth it all the same. That being said, a little bit of housekeeping. Friday's video will be delayed because the video I was going to put out Friday had to come out today. So I might postpone it to Sunday, but rest assured, it's going to be another big one, another big project. One that might require me to return to a certain familiar topic, one might say. Oh, also, I found out something funny. Friend of the channel, quote unquote, Lily Orchard put out a video at the same time I put out my video about Tim Burton, like within like a 30-minute time span. It's like the third or fourth time she's done this. I think it's unintentional, I really do, but it's quite funny how that keeps happening. We got married on the same day. She keeps uploading her videos on the same day as me. I feel like it's some like, I don't know, I feel like it's a sign from God or something. Who knows? And I'll act accordingly as it should be. But yeah, no, we had a lot of people read up for today's video. I reached out to a lot of different people asking, hey, would you be up to read a few quotes? And a couple people said no because they were traveling or just had finished moving or simply got the message, said yes, and forgot to send the audio. That happened to a couple people, which is fine, no big deal. But I was very impressed with how many people showed up and read quotes after I asked them. It's really nice. It feels flattering to know people like are eager to help out or happy to help out on a project. It feels really good. I always get nervous about asking people, especially other large YouTubers, because I feel like I don't want to waste their time, and small YouTubers too. But it's good to know. It's good to know that people have each other out, have each other's care, are out for each other.
Mr. Super chatted $5. How did 3 different people make vids about Burton this week?
Well, you see, there's this certain day. It's called Samhain. Some might call it All Hallows Eve. And Tim Burton kind of is associated with that holiday for being all spooky. Plus, it's accessible. I did not know... I didn't know the crab guy was going to make a Tim Burton video days before I did. Not that I'm complaining. It's not bad timing. But yeah, no. One Piece political. Brotherman. Oh yeah. We'll get the One Piece very quickly. But yeah, no. So I'm sure a lot of you guys know. Do you see kind of new grifter in on the block, background NPC? I did not know about background NPC. Maybe we'll take a look at him sooner than later. I also have next week's stream planned out. We have a special guest coming next week that I'll discuss then. That's going to be a Star Wars stream, I believe, but we'll get to that later. But right now, let's talk about politics in anime, because I'm sure a lot of you have seen this particular clip I'm going to show. A lot of you have, I'm sure. Now, I want to point out right now, I don't... Okay, let me get the clip up. 1 second. Oh, hang on, let me pause that real quick. I'm going to introduce this real quick as well. I should note right now, as an anime fan, I've been around as an anime fan for years. I've loved tons of different anime. No one ever, this whole anti-political thing with anime, that's a very new thing. Back when I was a kid, everyone wanted to make anime sound more important than it really was, you know? We were always trying to fight to say, oh no, anime's really sophisticated and meaningful. It's not just Japanese cartoons for kids. It's like adult media, you know? People could kind of push that. One of the best anime of all time, I still argue, is Ghost in the Shell. And Ghost in the Shell is overtly political. Even the manga, which is relatively goofier, you know? Oh yeah. I can tell I haven't streamed in a little bit. My lungs are still not used to me talking nonstop and not catching up for air soon. I had to strengthen my lungs to stream because I had to talk for long stretches of time without stopping. And I'll tell you, taking care of a kid, that's a lot of effort. It's a lot of work. You may hear my son wail at some point. Please don't be alarmed. My spouse should take care of it quickly. It's all good. It probably just means he wants food or something. You know, my son is motivated by 3 things: sleep, food, and sleep and cozy clothing. Oh, and diapers. So it's all good. No, not Ghost in the Shell, not the movie with Scarlett Johansson, the original anime movie, the amazing film. Anyway, let's just jump right into this one. Let's just jump into the clip. You all know it's coming. You all know this clip's coming. This is the one that motivated the entire conversation initially. Oh, cool, super chat coming in.
Stingertopia super chatted $5. Hi Aunt. Random question. Have you watched Gurren Lagann, and what are your thoughts?
Have I watched Gurren Lagann? Lagann? Oh yeah, no. I freaking love Gurren Lagann. Gurren Lagann is fantastic. Gurren Lagann. Okay, so back when I was in like middle school and high school. Okay, I'll tell you a story. Fairly recently, one of my good friends got married and we were at a bachelor party. It's like about maybe a year ago now. And we're at this place in the Poconos, and someone takes out a Crunchyroll subscription, gets on one of the TVs that we're renting, and they flip on anime. And the first they do, what did they do first? How'd you know Ippo? They first did, and then Gurren Lagann goes on, and for the next entire night, we're all sitting there watching Gurren Lagann. Playing cards or whatever, but like we all had seen it like 100 times. So if we were tuning out for a second, we'd come back and like, oh, this is this scene, or it's episode 8. This means this is gonna happen. Seymour is coming out of his deep spiral of depression and all that, and it's this, that, and the other thing. And we just knew the entire show straight through. So by the time the bachelor party ended over the course of a weekend, we had seen Gurren Lagann, and like we would basically go back and forth to watch stuff we had missed, or if any of us were asleep, we played the part we didn't see. Freaking Gurren Lagann's amazing. If you say that Gurren Lagann is your all-time favorite anime, I get it. I really do. That's a legitimate contender for all-time greatest, in my opinion. And I'll take Gurren Lagann is more Studio Trigger than Studio Gainax in terms of style, aesthetic, and tone. And I think it's also better than a lot of Studio Trigger shows. Hot take, I know, but what are you gonna do? Mike's gonna be knocked over again. Anyway, so let's talk a second about that clip. You know what we're talking about. Don't play dumb. It's the clip that sparked this entire conversation recently. Despite being 2 years old, it recently became viral again from when Trash Taste, the podcast, interviewed political commentator Hassan Piker. Hassan Piker, is that how you say his name? Yeah.
Wit super chatted $10. Happy Halloween and new dadhood aunt.
Thank you.
The anime discussion reminds me a lot of the video games are art, please take us seriously. 2. It's not that deep. Shut up, you stupid SJWs. Path of Gamergate.
It really does. It really does, because for years, people were trying to argue that video games were art. And then finally, video games were treated like art. And a lot of the hardcore gamers didn't like that. And now games have kind of gone back and forth, where you have these really big games that are fantastic, and you have a lot of games that are not. Now, I do want to point something out before I dive too much into this. And I'm not going to get too much into this because despite saying all art is political, this is not a political channel. This is not a channel about politics. It's a channel about art. So I guess I do have to talk briefly about Hassan. Some things Hassan says make sense. Some things they don't. I'll leave it at that.
Mr. Super chatted $2. Hassan's favorite One Piece character is Enel.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. That makes a lot of sense. I'm not a particular watcher of Hassan, so I don't know all of his takes. I have heard some that I don't agree with. I've heard a lot I do agree with. And I'll leave it at that, If you know the channel, you know I align more than not. But I'm not here to really discuss Hassan's politics. It's more just the opening of the discussion. How Hassan points out something that's a very basic read of One Piece that stuns the Trash Taste podcast. And in general, I like most of Trash Taste's crew. I tend to like Garn's stuff. I tend to like Connor's stuff. I'm not big on Joey. He's the one I'm the least big on. Yeah, Hassan is interesting. But again, I've only seen some of Hassan's stuff. I haven't seen a lot of it. So I'm not going to pretend that I'm like an expert on Hassan. If you know something I don't know, point it out, even as a super chat or whatever, because I don't really follow the guy's career all that closely. But he makes a very good point here about a very basic point about One Piece. Though I don't agree with his entire read of One Piece, it is still a read of One Piece. And I just want to give you guys a heads up. I know a lot of people in my audience have different perspectives, different ideas. Let's listen to what is said with an open mind and engage in discussion. I'm just throwing that right now because I know Hassan's controversial. I'm not endorsing Hassan. I'm just saying he says something here. All right? Cool? Good. Cool.
Have you seen or read JoJo?
I watched the JoJo ones up to the last one on Netflix.
Part 6, yeah.
I guess part 6, like Florida
Damn,
Prison.
you're deep.
Yeah.
I saw some of the Florida Prison one. I haven't finished it yet though.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Do you fuck with it?
yeah, no, I love JoJo.
Yeah.
It's weird as fuck. I have a bad take according to Connor. I tell people not to watch part 1.
Yeah, that's a
No,
What?
you don't do that.
That's
No.
a bad take.
Yeah.
No.
You don't skip.
Okay, no. Okay, Hassan, no way. Watch part 1 of JoJo. It's essential viewing. I like part 1 of JoJo. Okay, I know it's not the best arc. I like part 1 of JoJo. Ugh. God, Hassan, you're already. I know he said keep it. I know. I love what he said. Okay, Hassan's coming. Keep an open mind about Hassan. And the moment he said something, get pissed about it.
The Mad Mystic super chatted $5. I saw a Reddit post saying that there was no reason to rebel against the celestial dragons. They eventually acquiesced, but only because of taxes.
I don't. Listen. I like Reddit, but some people don't know what the frick they're talking about with these shows. Okay, yeah, but part one better than part 3. Oh my goodness, comments. I'm not gonna call you out specifically by name, but like, wow, that is a take. Yeah, Jonathan Joe Star deserves respect. There's some good parts in part 1. Now, is it better than parts 3 or 4 or 5? No. But you can't skip part 1. It's only 10 episodes. Just get through it, you know?
We don't skip parts here. We don't skip
I'm
parts
just saying,
here.
I'll tell people like it's a little. I mean, it's very different than the rest of the
super
show.
different, yeah.
It's like a different show that they made for some reason. Obviously, there's backbone there, you know, like the Porunarufu and you know, the Speedwagon, or not Porunarufu, but the Speedwagon, and you know, everyone else, like the whole family lineage is established there. But like, other than that, it's like a different anime.
Yeah, but it's nice. You get like rewarded for watching. And I feel like you can appreciate the show more, for wildly changing it up, but then also having little crumbs that kind of like reward you.
Yeah,
For
especially when
watching
you
the
get to like
biggest
the
parts.
later parts, like 7 and 8, where it's where actually they start to call back to stuff in part 1. It's like, oh, okay, it's
If I was
worth
watching
it.
part 6, you know, and they're doing all this weird fucking shit that makes no sense already because they don't explain stands ever.
Yeah.
Because like, why would?
Yeah, no, 100%. No, they're right. Again, listen, we're going to be crapping on Trash Taste a little bit very quickly because they get stunned by a basic take about One Piece. But, like, at the same time, they're not wrong. You know, they're very right. And again, I want to point out, I tend to like the guys from Trash Taste. These two especially. I like Garnt and Connor's stuff typically. Though, again, we'll get to this.
Because you've watched part 3,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, and then we're gonna get the stand to the Speedwagon Foundation. It's like, what does any of these words mean?
Yeah, no,
you have to watch.
That's what I mean, though. Like, you just establish him as a character, and like, but then
Hot take, part 6 is the weakest part in JoJo. Ooh, I don't agree with that one. I think 1 or 2 are the weakest. I think the first 2 arcs are the weakest ones. And then after that, not bad. It's still good. It's still, you know, listen. Weak JoJo is still better than most anime. But still, you gotta watch part 1.
then after that, it's
Nothing,
like it just drops you into this world where like, oh, the fighting sequences changed completely. Like, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like it because it's like, even though part 1 is my least favorite part, it's kind of like a timestamp of the era that it was made in, right? You know, it's very reminiscent of the OG 80s action movies.
Yep.
Everyone's like overly buff and everyone's like a Giga Chad.
I love
They
that
slowly
shit.
get less Giga Chad over.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it though. I like that they're all evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I want to point out also with I also like the gothic vibes of part 1. I'm a sucker for horror and like old Hammer stuff. Okay, so we're going to get to the stuff that everyone like. Okay, let's cut ahead a little bit. I think we have to get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
So then, like, kind of like One Piece, as a matter of fact, I would say.
Is that how you get into anime? You just like you get
I get
annoyed?
bullied into
you
it.
get bullied into watching
Here
it.
we go.
No. I don't think JoJo was like, you have to watch this. Like, but it
All right, let's
just,
try and
I
get
don't
into the
know.
stuff that's
Yeah,
important.
because JoJo fans have like the reputation of being the annoying fan base.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
never being
Yeah.
able to shut up about the show.
Yeah.
Which is totally true, by the way.
It's
But
Oh,
that's
yeah,
like I feel like that's every anime fan base.
One Piece love to pretend they're not like that, but One Piece fans are
Oh
like,
my god,
like
One Piece
the
is
worst.
way worse. I promise you, like, as someone who watched JoJo and is currently watching One Piece,
Yeah.
One Piece was way worse with respect to like how much they were like, bro, you have to watch One Piece, and it's such a it's like a biblical text. Like it's too many episodes. So you're like, I don't have that kind of time.
Like, which arc are you on? I'm on the New Testament.
Okay, now they start talking about One Piece, and this is where things. Now, I want to point out right now, this was Trash Taste's most controversial episode for hosting Hassan Piker. For the most part, Hassan was Trash Taste's. I don't know their political perspectives, any of them. I kind of assumed they're more centrist, but their audience had enough people who hated Hassan that they actually bullied Trash Taste into basically uninviting Hassan from any further appearances. And a lot of that has to do with what Hassan was about to say in this instance. And it's the point of, and the reason I'm showing this clip at all is because it sparked a conversation, because the clip resurged recently and started a lot of conversation. So let's take a listen.
Yeah. It's like, I don't have that kind of time commitment. Like, I can't do this. This is, and then you get into it and you're like, oh my God, it's so.
Fred Skull super chatted $1.99. The long walk is living rent free in my head.
The Stephen King story, the Richard Bachman story, as it should. Fantastic.
Good.
Yes, we did it, One Piece fans.
It's the OG cult in Japan.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the most popular cult.
Yeah.
I have people now in my fan base that just like don't know me for politics, but just like listen to me talk about One Piece, because like I have thousands of fan channels on YouTube, right? Like, I don't have any IP or anything, so I'm like, whatever, let it ride. Who cares?
Yeah.
There's this one fan channel that made an edit. Arc that I like summarize basically as I'm watching it, and like there is a fan base for that.
People love One Piece. And obsessed with everything.
Which is a very political anime, Connor.
It's okay. Well,
it is a very political anime.
You told me One Piece is very political.
Yes.
What aspect?
Oh my God. Yes, I love this. Okay. This is gonna piss off everybody, but I'm so right about this, even though like okay, first of all, every single arc, well, other than like the...
Here we go. Super chat coming in. Now, you're probably going to see where this is going.
Seaweed Fanatic super chatted $4.99. Just got back from work. What's the worst take so far, lol?
No takes yet. We're getting into the beginning of this conversation, because this clip sparked the conversation that we're going to have today. So I want to play at least a little bit of it. Again, as we will... Okay, listen. Anyone who has seen One Piece with even a modicum of basic understanding of how governments function, know One Piece is very political. Do I agree with all of Hassan's takes he's about to say? No. But again, we'll get to it.
The first couple of arcs, every single arc quite literally details like leftist politics, which I think Oda is. Oda is 100% a leftist, first of all. He has a Che Guevara photo in his studio. 100%. Look it up. Established fact. I have assets. I can pull it up.
I got the receipts.
Show. I want to see this.
I can pull this up. Okay, hold on.
What else?
Okay, so that's number one. Number two, which arc are you on? I don't want to like spoil anything.
He's
I
Thriller
just
Bark.
finished. I just
Thriller
finished,
Bark.
Water 7.
Yeah.
Okay. So Thriller Bark kind of sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. That's the ending is great, but like everything else is kind of mid. But it's fine, because what comes after is so good.
Everyone says this.
Okay.
I'm tired.
He's right. He's right, though.
It's so good. It's so fucking good.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
But that means you watch Alabaster, right?
Yeah.
Which is definitely political, but like not as aggressively, but it's about like resource deprivation, things like that. But then Skypiea, which again, may be a little bit too long as an arc, is quite literally about like, indigenous populations being removed from their land and like violently trying to find autonomy and emancipation through violent means directly against like an enemy that is much more powerful than them.
Right.
That is like, that's like a land back movement, which is inherently very political, very leftist.
I feel like I watched I read a different
I know. I was trying to describe this to him. He's like, what are you talking about? It's
I was
about
like, man, I saw funny Gunman.
No, One Piece is about having fun with your friends and being free.
Yeah, what? Exactly.
I mean, first of all, Luffy is a terrorist. He is. I mean, he literally is. He's fighting.
I hate that you're kind of right.
Yes,
I fucking hate that you're kind of right.
Yeah, he is a freedom fighter in the most like honorable sense of the word.
Yeah.
He is quite literally fighting against an unjustifiable, corrupt military apparatus that is like holding the entire world hostage, the world government and the Navy. He's literally killing cops. Like he's killing sea cops, and motherfuckers are like, no, that's not politics. What do you mean? That's just like gum man having fun.
I mean, the thing is, like, I remember you saying this yesterday when we were having dinner, and I was just like, I think with One Piece, just because of the art style and just the way things are, funny rubber man. Yeah. Of course, you know, you can take it at that level, and it's still very, very interesting stories. But if you break down some of the stuff that happens, half of it is Luffy going up against a corrupt government or corrupt. I mean, like,
bro, you need to start an anime analysis channel. Like,
Yeah,
I would legitimately watch like a 15-minute breakdown of
Luffy
this.
is a leftist. And
No,
why
but it's
Luffy
like
would play Hogwarts Legacy.
it's I'm not even. Well, there's trans representation in that too, but we're not gonna get into that right now.
Yeah.
But as far as like Oda goes, I mean, here there is the I think like Dragons. I mean, I don't want to like spoil anything, but Oda has talked about how Dragon's design was inspired in part by revolutionaries like Fidel Castro.
Yeah.
He has a Che Guevara photo in his office. I believe.
okay.
I don't know this part yet. I'm not at that part yet, so I can't speak on this.
Right.
But I think Dragon's ship is literally the same name as Fidel Castro's ship.
Okay, but here's the thing. I think sometimes.
Here you go. 1 second. All right, super chat coming
Jeffrey
in.
Pyatt super chatted $2. Their Nukitashi review missed its political theme.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Now, again, what Hassan is doing is providing a basic political analysis of One Piece. Specifically, one might call this, in university and in academic studies, they would call this like a Marxist read of a text. And it's a basic undergrad read of One Piece. It's nothing super complicated here. This is basic stuff. It's like saying, yeah, Luffy and crew fight oppressive regimes. Now, I'm going to show you a video next, there's bits of it, that goes even deeper than Hassan does here, just by virtue of having a more well thought out, less off the cuff, more refined argument. But yeah, so while Trash Taste, I think, is goofing around about this, they're also, revealing they didn't really think that deeply about it. I think Gart is the one that kind of is the most receptive to the whole discussion. But, this is absolutely a basic read of One Piece. And nothing Hassan is saying is something that other people haven't also said previously. But like a lot of political discussion about media, it's not so much if you're saying something for the first time, it's if you're saying it at a large enough platform to enough people.
Mr. Super chatted $2. Do you think Hassan knows who Nobuhiro Watsuki is?
Oh, I don't actually know. I don't know. Okay, so here's the thing. If Hassan had to be convinced later on in life to read One Piece, I don't know if he's read Kenshin. I don't know if he grew up with Kenshin like a lot of folks did, who are big anime fans in the 2000s. But yeah, people got angry at Hassan for this basic read. Now, here's the question. Hassan goes on to argue that that Luffy is kind of a communist. I don't know if I agree with that read. That's why I think it goes a little too far.
Stingertopia super chatted $10. You know it's bad when an obvious read of a story that a streaming service couldn't even mess up is somehow a continuous statement instead of an accurate but basic read.
Yeah, exactly. It's a basic read. Completely basic.
Blue Baron super chatted $2. Congrats again, Ant. Hope Op inspires generations.
Hope One Piece inspires generations. Well, we're going to get to that later because the One Piece, the Straw Hat Pirate flag has become kind of a symbol of revolution throughout the world. And we'll get to that in a bit. But I would say Luffy's more of an anarchist. Not even an anarchist, but like kind of just like a freedom for everyone. Kind of not really heavy in the specifics of politics, but more the simplicity of it. I think what makes Luffy so refreshing is that he's not a specifically politically aligned person. He just wants to help his friends and he sees anyone who is a companion or kind to him as a potential friend. And he sees the suffering of innocence and has a very simple cookie-cutter solution. In a... Sorry. He gets right to the point. He sees a group of people or a system that's causing pain. He fights that. He punches that pain with his rubber fist. That's the gist of it. He doesn't really need to worry about the specific intellectual discussions and political committees. It's just basic, hey, this guy's hurting people. Let's stop him. That's One Piece in a nutshell. And it just so happens that Luffy exists in a complicated world, and he has a simple solution to complicated problems. One that prioritizes the good of the innocent person, and one that does not place Luffy as someone who wants to gain anything from anything. He's not trying to get power or authority. I'm going to watch a little more of the clip, then we'll move on to the next video.
Especially when you see this a lot in Japanese manga. Sometimes authors will put shit in there just because it looks cool.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Sometimes it's it's like, the curtain is blue kind of like argument. Sometimes you look at something and it's a reference to some Western media or Western history. And a lot of the times it's just Japanese people find Western things that cool.
It's too many. It's too many coincidences. Listen. The Bolivarian Revolution in Cuba was conducted with a yacht that was used to transport 82 fighters of the Cuban Revolution from Mexico to Cuba. Okay. The yacht's name is Granma, without a D. Granma, which is the exact same. Is the exact same name as a dragon's ship. Come on, that's not like that. He didn't just see that and was like, because you have to be really invested. You have to be a weeb.
One second.
Wit super chatted $10. Luffy himself being uninterested in politics makes the overall politics of One Piece stronger. He's very selfishly selfless, and that's how he's saved multiple nations.
100%. And he has helped leaders out as well. It's just he sees people who bully others as a problem. Now, this is why I think Hassan loses me slightly. I wouldn't be surprised if that was something that Oda just knew and incorporated into the work. But I think where I draw the line with Hassan's read is that I don't necessarily think that Luffy embodies any particular political ideology beyond freedom for all. I think that's where it gets I disagree a little bit on Hassan's read. He's very much from a Marxist read of the text. That's what he's doing. But, and I don't disagree that I think Oda is aware. I don't think it's just a matter of him seeing cool stuff and putting it in. But I don't think it's also reflective of the core politics he's trying to communicate in his text. Oda's very aware that revolution can sometimes bring about worse governments that are more oppressive and dangerous. And again, we're going to get to the Mother's Basement video soon, too. I'm going to skip around with that as well. But basic stuff here. Anyway.
Before communism to put that in there.
I think he's just a weeb for history. Honestly, with the amount of lore that One Piece has, One Piece has some of the most intricate world building in my opinion, any piece of media.
Oh, absolutely.
It's obviously one of the most intricate worlds in anime and manga, but I think it's up there with some of the best worlds that have been in any book, movie, or TV series, right? And you can't do that without doing a fuck ton of history on just the history of the world. Being inspired by a lot of events that might have taken place in real world history.
I'm just saying, it points too many fingers in one direction. Here's a photo from Oda's office space where he has his airsoft guns and then a photo of Che Guevara right in there. I'm just saying,
dude, he's come prepared.
I have the receipts. If you want to see it. There you go.
Okay, airsoft's pretty popular in Japan.
Yeah.
He's still giving Oda the benefit of the doubt.
Yokai Lover 699 super chatted $2. Luffy's solutions begins and ends with Gum Gum.
Exactly correct. Luffy, and I think Superman does this too. One of the reasons why Luffy and Superman are so compelling is that they offer a simple solution to a complex problem. They are people who exist in a world with a lot of different elements and kind of have to find easy solutions to it. So again, I think Garnt engaged with the idea the most and engaged with the topic the most. I think the other two don't really as much. And I think Joey just sits there and does nothing, which is kind of... Actually, that follows through with a lot of what Joey does in most of these discussions, in my opinion. But I digress. Anyway, so this sparked a conversation because the clips went viral again. Here we go. This is where... This short's from a month
Joey
ago.
the Anime Man is getting cooked on the timeline because people are calling him out for not thinking that One Piece is political. That's right, unemployment activities are reaching record highs, and it's making the job application devil that much stronger. Now, this all started when Twitter and anime creators were literally going feral over Joey's statements on anime tourism, and in response, Joey said that anime isn't that deep, which then caused this trap take clip to resurface, where none of these lads realized that One Piece was a political anime. And it's like, come on guys, the politics in One Piece were there from the very beginning, but it devolved into this further discussion that all anime and art is inherently political, and I totally agree. The politics of Rent-A-Girlfriend really changed my life. Oh wait, that's just capitalism. So Joey...
Yep, so that's where it started from. Again, it's all Joey's, it's all the Anime Man's fault, again. But yeah, that's how this all resurfaced. The Anime Men video. This resurfaced because of the Anime Men video where Joey was criticizing the Anime Men for being tourists. It all comes back to the same freaking couple of stories. When you're online enough times, you'll realize that all drama circles back on itself eventually. It all comes back to the same place. It's all Joey's fault again. But I digress. I'm mostly joking around. But yeah, this clip resurfaced after the Anime Men video, and after Joey made a big deal. He made a comment also about like anime tourists being like Christopher Columbus, like some bizarre thing like that. It was like a really weird comparison. Also, Rent-A-Girlfriend is political, deals with the ways that capitalism can kind of turn love and romance into an industry. Also, it promotes if having a gay character is political, then having aggressively straight characters is also political, by that same metric. Sorry. Yeah, also, as Kyla T is saying in comments, Rent-A-Girlfriend is also political because the Japanese birth rate is declining at a rapid rate, and therefore a lot of shows exist promoting reproduction and promoting romance to young men to get them to, produce offspring. There's a lot of discussion there as well with that whole topic. But again, that's a little more complicated, but that's another political read of Rent-A-Girlfriend, and most fan service anime on that note as well. Or it could just also be entertainment. Both reads are simultaneously true and not mutually exclusive. But anyway, this sparked a lot of discussion and backlash against the Anime Men, against trash taste, and in turn, saying Hassan Piker was onto something there. There are a lot of videos up here that did a lot of specific stuff, but I think the one video that did the best job recently is Mother's Basement.
Over the past few months, certain cosplay props been showing up in places you'd never expect. At least.
There we go. 1 second. Super chat.
Artesful super chatted $3.72.
Thank you.
The aspect I love is that plenty of the time Luffy doesn't really understand what's going on. He missed Nami's backstory and sleeped through the Fishman Islands backstory too.
Yep.
He just sees bullies and stops them with his fist.
100% agree. And welcome Just Tom as a reader. Welcome. If you want to become a reader, I'm going to post a link to the Discord at the end of the stream to members only. You can join our Discord, have conversations and all the good stuff. I have been MIA from the Discord for a couple of days now because child taken care of, but I'll get around to it. Don't worry. Welcome Shark Jumping Walrus. Thank you for being a member for 10 months. That's impressive and really great. But yeah, so the big video I think right here is Mother's Basement's video. Now Mother's Basement is another one of those like long running anime YouTube accounts. I like Mother's Basement quite a bit. I know some people don't like him too much. I love his stuff. I think he's really informative and interesting.
Darth Ninja 65 super chatted $5. I realized anime was political when I saw Astro Boy beat up what looked like a row of Klansmen when I was a child.
Freaking love Astro Boy. That's a good one too. Olivia Williams, thank you for super chat. Apparently, Peter Thiel thinks he's Luffy. Oh, he also thinks the Antichrist is everywhere, so I guess that adds up.
Yokai Lover 699 super chatted $5. While content of a work can be apolitical, its context can be.
Exactly. All work is political in that the context in which it's written is political. You know, we all produce work in a political body, in a political environment, and all work reflects or responds or engages with the politique of our era. That means that no matter what we do, art always exists as a political work. In fact, speaking your mind freely is in itself a political act, an exercise in freedom of speech, which is itself political. Now, the question isn't so much whether works are political by nature, but rather, can work express political ideas? Can work engage politically with wow, words, English. Sometimes words, I lose words sometimes. The iconography of the iconography. Wow, the iconography of our words. Wow, words sometimes elude me sometimes. Isn't Anime America kind of sus? Anime America is kind of sus. Yeah, that's fair. They are a little sus. Mother's Basement, though. Mother's Basement put out a video about One Piece and the politics therein. We are not going to watch the entire video because I recommend you watch it yourself, because it is a fantastic deep dive into One Piece and the politics of One Piece in a way that is clearly from someone who has a thorough understanding of One Piece, way more thorough than I do. And I like One Piece, but Mother's Basement dives in real deep. Lest we forget, the Death Note one shot was actually had Trump. Oh yeah, no. So the Kyle has mentioned this in the comments. I'll mention it right here. The Death Note one-shot epilogue story ends with Donald Trump buying the Death Note, which is, in my opinion, one of the single greatest panels in comic history. There's a lot of appearances of Trump in manga from between 2016 and 2020. You gotta see it again now. There's Donald Trump showing up for the Sumo manga finale. I remember that. There was Death Note. There were a couple other ones too. I think. What's that one edgy anime that like? There's one anime that was really edgy that had like an apocalyptic scenario, which shows Donald Trump getting on the news and like yelling at everyone. I forget what it was. It was funny though. It was funny. But yeah, no. Was it Baki? It might have been Baki. I don't think it was Baki. It was something else. I think he also shows up in Baki the Grappler too. But Devilman Crybaby is also fantastic. Anyway, so let's go on to this. Oh, Inuyashiki. And Inuyashiki. There we go. Thank you. Inuyashiki. That's the one I was thinking of. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Dark
Richard
Ninja
Forrest.
65 super chatted $5. What's Seuss about Anime America? Haven't checked on them in a while.
Anime America's had some bad takes, especially some stuff about, I think,
With
Glitch,
super chatted $5. Best Trump appearance in manga is him pissing and shitting himself in fear of an unfrozen caveman in Grappler Baki.
Yes, that's right. That was a funny one. Baki does not hold back, which is great. It's so over the top. And Musk shows up in Baki too. That's even funnier. Anyway, let's now again, I'm gonna actually, you know what? I'm not gonna show the Mother's Basement video because I do recommend you watch it for yourself. It is fantastic, but I will do a little bit of summary of it. In the video, he goes into detail about Luffy as a freedom fighter, and points out a few really good points. I'm gonna go to, I think right here.
Piece isn't political at all. So, yeah, they're just completely wrong. Both in the broad, everything is political sense that no work of art can fully expunge its own creator's biases and worldview, and the meme sense that it has many queer and racialized characters in it, but also in the more specific sense that Eiichiro Oda has a lot of very strong opinions regarding governments and social issues that he builds most of his story arcs around. Drum Island is explicitly about the evils of privatized and monopolized medicine. The entire East Blue Saga is bookended with stories about different scales of police corruption. Skypiea is about colonialism and its ties to the romanticized age of exploration. Fishman Island deals with civil rights and the evils of racial supremacy. Alabasta and Dressrosa both examine from different angles how covert foreign actors can destabilize and subvert sovereign states. Water 7 is about basically the CIA doing that and leads directly into a vicious spoof of Japan's guilty until proven innocent court system. Wano explores the pros and cons of open borders with a little side of trans rights. Sabo's backstory is all about how elites divide and conquer through social stratification. Robin's backstory shows how history can be twisted and erased to control political narratives in the Smithsonian. The entire Summit War saga is about the corruption and politicization of justice itself. Long Ring Longland is about cheating scandals in the Laugh Olympics. It's a very political manga. And when you dig deeper to look at the underlying narrative connecting those arcs, you find revolutionary politics baked into One Piece and Luffy's very DNA. Literally. Oda keeps a picture of Che Guevara hanging prominently in his studio, and he's based more than one character on his likeness and history, including Monkey D. Luffy's own father, Dragon, the leader of the Revolutionary Army. Now,
again, right there, okay, now a lot of that does echo what Hassan also said, but a lot of it's more additive, because, he goes way more in depth than Hassan does in that little clip. But yeah, that's just a brief clip of a much longer video. I recommend you watch the whole thing. It is a half hour of fantastic deep diving into One Piece, way deeper than I ever could. Fantastic stuff. Anything that I say really is echoing what Mother's Basement says. So I recommend you just watch it for yourself after the stream. But this begins the discussion. If One Piece is so overtly political, and anime fans can watch it and just go, oh, cool, rubber guy punch hard, really good, then how do you not pick up on the fact that that show's political? What is it about anime that seems so often to be something that we overlook in terms of the specific political elements therein? I think it's also because when we think of politics, we think of, for better or worse, Star Wars. We think of the Star Wars prequels where you have these big councils where people all meet up and talk and like say, oh, we're going to talk about, a vote of no confidence against Chancellor Valerum, and we're going to talk about the borders, and we're going to talk about this. And we don't think of like, oh no, the day-to-day politics of life, what this has ramifications for the individual person.
Wit super chatted $2. Geoff's speech about Gear 5 in that video rules.
Oh yeah, everything Jeff says in this video is great, but specifically that part about Gear 5, fantastic, love it. No notes. He did not leave any crumbs behind for this video. It's a fantastic video. But again, I want to point out here, didn't engage at all with the ideas, engaged deeply. Is anime that deep? Well, why would we not want to engage it on a deeper level? Now, Bonsai Pop also released a video shortly thereafter.
With your tax.
Super chat real quick.
Gelatin Skeleton super chatted $5. Shout out to the Drock Show for being my go-to One Piece channel for political, historical anal YSIS.
Hey, you hear it first. Shout out Drock Show. Absolutely recommend that.
Hey, you there, don't skip the ad. Hey, you there, don't skip
factor.
out politics. Nothing. So shut up. You may have heard on the internet, unless you have a real dickhead in your life that talks to you like that in person. And if that's the case, I say you should have more respect for yourself and remove them from your existence. They're rude and wrong. Hopefully. Anyway.
Just came from OSP.
People get really riled up when it comes to anime, which is silly because it's anime. There's maybe possibly more important things going on. I don't know. I exist only in your viewing device. Where do you exist? Maybe it's a hug box where you have the misconception that fans of anime are cool, open-minded people, because some are, but not all. Not all.
And that's the problem, too. Again, Bonsai's Pop's video, also really good. Also recommend you watch it. This argues that anime fans, though, are very antagonistic towards people who present the concepts of politics in anime. A lesser seen video that just came out, I think, yesterday, from Colleen Mangarex, who's a channel I really think is really good.
Man,
right here.
what a day. I really just need something scary to make me... A lot of people were getting on his ass for using a terribly overblown analogy, and his response to...
They just went after Anime Man. Okay, let's go right here. Right here.
All art is political is a saying you may have seen floating around the internet in the past few weeks. Especially if you're on the side of the internet that belongs to discourse around anime and manga. This is thanks to the YouTuber and podcast bro, the Anime Man, who recently decided to take into his own hands the problem.
Urban Super chatted $5. I feel bad for MB. He was a bit of a punching bag back in the day, and it took me far too long to realize much of the backlash he got wasn't very fair.
100%. Mother's Basement does a lot of good work. People forget that. I think people kind of, for whatever reason, I think it's also because of his affiliation with Crunchyroll. But right now, he's one of the only big anime YouTubers talking about all the problems with Crunchyroll. Like, people were saying he was like a Crunchyroll shill for a while, but then, like, he's the only guy criticizing Crunchyroll on a specific level, very overtly. I'm like, oh, not the only one. That's an over-exaggeration. But of the big channels, he's one of the few that are. So, again, Colleen's video, also fantastic. Also watch Colleen's Manga Rex. Good, great channel. But yeah, no, they go in the same topic of discussion here, too.
Problem of anime tourists. In that video of his, he compares the genocide of indigenous people in the Americas by Columbus and his goons to that of tourists taking over anime. Consequently, a lot of people were getting on his ass for using a terribly overblown analogy, and his response to all of that was
making it way too overly political for your own good is just not my problem. Okay? It's really not that deep.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Since then, what has ensued is a endless back and forth between it's not that deep grifters and well-meaning people who consistently won't stop engaging with blue check accounts. Clips of a previous Trash Taste episode where Hassan Piker was on and he's saying One Piece is political, to what seemed to be jeers from the likes of Joey. Notorious accounts like Chibi Reviews posting on Twitter that anime can't be political. Look at the jiggle physics on this girl.
We'll get to Chibi later. We'll get to him tonight. Don't worry. I will not forget. I'm not going to talk about channels I like all night. I'm not going to talk about things I enjoy. Again, this is where I get into the discussions of the meat of the point.
Girl, and so on and so forth. The culture war on the politics of anime has reached a fever pitch. And I don't believe that either side has adequately fought for what their philosophies actually are. Because, yes, whether art is inherently political is a philosophy. And despite what some people might try to say, anime and manga are art too. Which means, like all other art forms, it is subject to criticisms and philosophical ideals that have been around since at least the 1800s. Where we actually need to start this video, though, isn't with the history of the debate.
Yep, there we go. So again, great videos, watch all three.
Stingertopia super chatted $2. Oh no, Chibi, I was just forgetting about them.
We have a few other familiar faces too, because people try jumping into the discussion of anime who don't know anything about anime. It's pretty bad. Chibi's interesting because a lot of people compared me to Chibi in a terrible way. I'm going to explain what the context is. A lot of people recently compared me to Chibi Reviews recently because, for a very specific reason, what happened, I'm going to take my shirt off, my sweater anyway, it's getting a little hot in here. What happened is, not my shirt, I'm wearing something underneath here. Actually, I probably shouldn't wear that. No, actually, I'm going to keep it on. I'm not wearing something that's appropriate. Anyway, So, yeah, actually, I'm gonna keep the sweater on. I'm not wearing an appropriate shirt to wear on stream. The point is that Chibi Reviews and I both talked about a very specific topic. One that overlaps a lot with... we both talked about censorship in art. And people comparing me to Chibi Reviews in a positive, they perceived it as positive, saying, oh, you guys are both talking about anti-censorship. And again, Chibi talks a lot about censorship. However, his perspective on censorship is a little wrong. His perspective's a little different. He's very much... Okay, here we go. Here's the video I'm talking about right here with Chibi. Let's take a look right here.
It's become...
So, his perspective is a little different, as you can see. He believes that anything that any changes in adaptation, any changes that a company issues to an older product, he sees it as overt censorship. That must be fought against tooth and nail, you know. So yeah, here's where Chibi stepped into the comparing with Oddity Archive in terms of long-form content and how deep you both go in subject. That's fair. Hey, Oddity, I'm down for that. And again, listen, whoever you compare me to, that's fine. You know, it's all right. If you feel there's a comparison that's worth discussing, even if I find it not great, hey, the comparison's important. Yeah, no. Chibi's done a lot of damage, I think, to the community, I think. And we're going to talk about it right now.
Graceful EG super chatted $10. I can acknowledge some art is political, but is there no shame in looking at art differently? Like psychologically, spiritually, socially, historically, or even religiously in good faith.
That's absolutely fine. They're all equally valid lenses to look at art.
Terminal Sanity super chatted $5. Just because loads of people are media illiterate, too often deliberately, doesn't make media like anime, manga any less political than it often is.
100%. That's what it is. You know, that's the reality of it. All art is political. All art is meaningful. All art has something you can draw from. All art can be read through a psychological lens, through a spiritual lens, through a social lens, through a historical lens, through a religious lens. And they can all be done in good faith. Any lens you apply to media analysis can be done. You can look at any work of art through a feminist lens, through a Marxist lens, through a, what's another lens I can look at? Like an existential lens, you know, through a nihilistic lens, through a Catholic lens, you know. Those lenses you look at work in does not mean the work inherently changes, but rather your perspective of the work changes depending on how you look at it from. And that's all well and good. Any academic discussion on that topic allows that, welcomes it even. It's encouraged academically to analyze media through different lenses to get a full sense of the perspective on things. But it's not too deep bro types. What they want to do is just say, oh, don't look at it through that lens. Only read text through the lens I want you to look at it through. And that's wrong. Because art will often have multiple lenses through which you can look at it through. Well, let's take a look right here, see what he has to say.
More and more common for the avocation of censorship of anime and manga, and even topics like, is fan service even necessary for anime in 2025? And then you have people saying all art is political, like anime and manga is political, and so I think it's now a better time than ever to really discuss the elephant in the room, and that is the anime tourist problem.
Okay, here's a question, Chibi. How is all art being political tied in with anime tourism? Because again, I call people on the. I love how the anime man apology video puts me front and center in like one of the opening montage, going, "You fucking tourists!" I love it. It's so funny to me. But yeah, no. So tourism has nothing to do with saying all art is political or saying that or criticizing the medium. Criticizing media is essential. We have to criticize media. If you're not critical with the media you consume, then you're not actually watching it, you're passively consuming it. That's not the same thing. But let's take a look, Chibi. What do you have to say? Because clearly this is unscripted, you're just spouting things out. Let's see what you have to say.
I have talked briefly about this in separate videos, but I think that it's very important to really talk about this because I feel like more or less I'm obligated to, especially since I've been at the heart of a lot of controversy as of late when it comes to gatekeeping, anime tourists, and just people getting legitimately upset about fan service in general, and me trying to fight for artists or creators being able to express themselves within their art in any way they want, even if that...
Alright, hang on a second.
Scorpion Wolf super chatted $10. My issues with all art is political is not caring for time and place of discussion. See Starbucks hashtag race together. Poorly implemented political themes in works, and people being as civil as a velociraptor.
I don't know what that has to do with the topic, though. Here's the thing. All art being political does not mean all art is good. You know what I'm saying? Not all art has to be of quality for it to exist in a political body. And saying all art is political does not mean all art is intentionally political. When we say all art is political, it means that all art exists in a political world. That's it. It does not have to promote a political ideology, but it is simply shaped by the worldview of whoever made that art, or whoever people made it, collectively. That has nothing to do with it having a specific message. A political message is different than it being political. In fact, just the fact you have art created at all means it is an exercise of free speech. So, what you're describing is bad writing. And yeah, you should criticize that. You know what I'm saying? Something being bad, yeah, criticize it. Absolutely criticize it. Criticize it for being pandering. Criticize it for being hollow, surface level. But that's not the same thing as saying the art itself is not political inherently. You see what I'm trying to say? They're a different concept entirely. But anyway. Let's see right here. Ellen historian, light novel historian, I guess? Okay. This is a new level of anime, quote-unquote, gatekeep. Stop pretending like anime is perfect. Someone pointing out problematic elements within the medium doesn't make them a tourist. Y'all are weird. Yeah, no, exactly. Someone arguing that an anime is imperfect is not the same thing as them being a quote-unquote tourist. It means you're analyzing and criticizing the work. You can't just passively consume medium,
Content might be problematic to some people, which is from the words of Ellen historian himself, which, let me just play this real quick before I go any further.
Let's hear you sing.
For example, if I criticize something like Mushoku Tensei or Rudius, who, let's be honest, has some really problematic aspects, these anti-tourists will get mad at me, dismiss everything I say, then label me the tourist. And it's not like I don't know what I'm talking about. I read the entire novel. And as for anime in general...
So, before we go any further, can we talk about how he says that Mushoku Tensei, Rudy, is problematic? He's a problematic character. And he does go on even further in this video to point out that Mushoku is a very problematic series, has a lot of problems, or tries to normalize problematic elements. But then he literally says, even though it's problematic, I critically consume it, so it's okay. And I'm just like, dude. Oh my goodness. Like, I'm gonna leave it at that one. But let's get into the...
Oh, we're in for one of these types of videos, aren't we? Chibi, you didn't say anything. Like, oh my god, you criticize media that you generally like otherwise? Saying something has problems means I don't throw it all out with the bathwater? Oh my god, I can't even comment. Can't comment on that. Jesus Christ. Oh god, we're in for a rough night, aren't we? Yeah, no. So Chibi, there's a lot of anime I love that has problems. Still love them, but they have problems. Because you can criticize media that you still otherwise enjoy. Because saying a work has things that you don't jive with, not even saying they're flawed, but saying there's things you don't jive with personally, does not mean you dislike the work or think it shouldn't exist. I'm trying to be nicer on this channel. I'm trying to be much nicer. I'm trying not to insult as much. I'm trying to make an effort. Let's see what he has to say. Maybe he's just, off the cuff. Didn't think it through. Let's keep going.
The main topic, and that is anime tourist. So you might have heard about this topic already from Joey. Actually, he made a video 13 days ago called...
See, it always comes back to Joey. It's always this guy. Freaking the anime man himself keeps showing up. And by the way, he doesn't even like anime. He's said multiple times, Joey, that he doesn't like anime. He changed his name from the anime man because he stopped watching anime. And yet all this anime discussion is stemming from a guy talking about tourism who doesn't even watch anime anymore. Or manga lad, whatever he's called now. It's like, come on, dude. Like, how are we all centering Joey's perspective here as though that's the part that's most meaningful? He doesn't even watch anime. Why are we listening to him about tourism? Anyway.
Called The Anime Tourist Problem. And he had a 24-minute video, as you can see. It's a really good video, actually. And he breaks down the good, the bad, and kind of the...
Chibi so far is the only person who liked the anime man's video that we've talked about so far.
Inevitable of why anime is like it is, or why the anime and manga community is like it is, and you know, there is at this point honestly no stopping the train that has been set in motion. More on that in a moment, but the point is that Joey made this video.
Unga_bunga 9615 super chatted $3.28.
Nice.
Got here late. WTF is an anime tourist? Sounds like gatekeeping to me.
It is.
Also standing by for my in-depth critical, political analysis of high school DxD.
I should just do that, shouldn't I? I should make that like a goal at some point, a deep dive into high school DxD.
JD on my soul super chatted $5. I love Masamune Suro even if I don't jive with his celebration of militarized police. Lots of good stuff, lots of stuff that's not for me.
100%. I love Shiro's work, but he has a lot of weird stuff in his work too. Doesn't mean I don't love it.
Seaweed Fanatic super chatted $4.99. Also, Joey likes lolis. Another reason not to listen to him.
Look, I'll be honest with you. Of all the trash taste hosts, I like two of them. I'm not a fan of Joey. But Garnt and Connor, I like a good deal. I think they have some good stuff. I don't always agree with all their takes, but I generally like what they do. I also gotta say, I do love the video that Garnt did. I think is his best one. Is the video he did on Katawa Shoujo. I thought that was a really good video on Katawa Shoujo. He did a lot of historical depth into like how it was made and all that. Even though I don't think that they are politically aware, they are. I think Garnt and I think Connor are a net good to the anime discussion. I think anyway, from my perspective. Joey is just an odd character, I think. I don't get Joey. I think he puts his foot in his mouth too often, and his takes always annoy me the most. I don't watch his stuff at all.
Many days ago, about almost 2 weeks ago, and it caused quite a stir, and it's starting to build a lot of traction now, especially on...
Yeah, no. Sea Dog, I think, plays very close to, like, centrist. I think Garnt talks a bit more freely. I think they're both centrist, but I don't think they're necessarily, like... I think they're more kind of, like, just disinterested in political elements. But I think Joey annoys me. Joey just annoys me.
TikTok and Twitter, and basically a lot of people are upset with him, even talking about gatekeeping anime tourist, and you know, a lot of people right now are trying to say Joey is a messed up individual because of this clip, and I'm gonna play this clip because it's gaining a lot of traction, especially...
1 second.
Carter Sauce super chatted $10.
Thank you.
I rarely get to catch your lives with my work schedule, but just want to say thank you so much for all the videos and VODs that help get me through each day. Also, congrats on being a father.
Thank you. No, I'm glad my work can help you get through the day. It's a lot. Life is rough, man. Life is really rough, and it's good that we have like. It feels good knowing that like what I do can help make the day go by a little more easy, so you get the things that matter to you in your life more, and that's all well and good. I'm happy that you enjoyed the stuff, and then it goes for everyone. By the way, everyone watching, thank you for watching. Also, if you haven't yet liked the video, you have like 300 people watching this, and you haven't clicked on the like button. Come on, click the like button. Help me out in the algorithm here. I'm kidding, but still, it helps. It goes a great deal, and I really appreciate it. Yeah, I have a son now. Yeah, I have. What do you think this bug was here for? I have
It's
this mug
West
for a
super
reason.
chatted $5. The problem with people like Chibi is that they have massive platforms in this space, but only push the most anti-critical thinking takes imaginable.
Yeah, that's the thing that's so strange and annoying. I mean, like, listen, Chibi has almost 500,000 subscribers. Let me bring up something right here. So for comparison, Colleen Mangarex, 64,000 subs. Great channel, fantastic, deserves 100,000 K, I might add. Lines in Motion, who I'm friendly with, who did a lot of thumbnails for the channel, who's they just cracked 100,000 recently, I think. Also great channel. Not enough people watch, Not enough people watch them. They have a lot of great analysis. Red Bard, who I've collaborated with multiple times and I've known to some degree since before even becoming a YouTuber. Fantastic channel. They have a great channel. Kennedy's work is fantastic and deserves to be watched. Bonsai Pop right here, 294,000. And again, Bonsai Pop, his videos go in depth on anime. He actually talks about anime. He talks about specific anime, really good ones. Meanwhile, you got Chibi here, who just rants and raves about stuff, and he has almost 500,000. That's the landscape, Anyway, back to this real quick.
Especially on TikTok, and I feel like it's important to really show this before I go any further.
Video, he actually compares anime tourists to the colonization of the Americas. Are we serious right now? You are really comparing anime becoming mainstream to the death of millions and countless atrocity.
My guy, chill.
Mellow Boy super chatted $3.57. I believe that you can be critical of media that you have not consumed, at least based off what you know about the media.
To an extent, I think that's fair, but only an extent. For example, this is an example I find a lot of people here's an example of a movie that a lot of people criticize that they have not watched themselves, myself included. The movie Cuties. Cuties is a movie that deals with the child beauty pageant industry, and a lot of people find it very distasteful. But you can find it distasteful without watching it. You can say, I find this topic distasteful, and you don't want to watch it for that reason. And I'm with you. I don't want to watch that. I find it very unpleasant of a topic, and so I'll judge it based on that. But I wouldn't pretend that's a supplement for an in-depth response. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can say, this topic upsets me. I don't want to even touch it with a pole. But you can't say, here's how the movie fails to deal with that topic, or here's how the movie struggles with this topic. It's because it's like, you have to look at work from two lenses. Do I want to watch this? And no one's obligated to even watch it. If you find something unpleasant, like for me, Cuties I find repellent, yeah, I'm not going to watch it at all. Never. But my saying it sucks because I don't like the idea is not a substitute for an in-depth review or in-depth analysis of how bad it is. And people who've seen it can say, hey, I've seen it and here's why it's bad, hypothetically speaking. But I can't do that because I've never watched it. I can just tell you, I find this topic disgusting. I don't want to watch this movie. That's how it is. And so that's why I think it's important to keep an open mind. If it's a work that you want to deeply criticize, you gotta experience it. You gotta go into it. You gotta analyze it. If there's something that you've never seen that you just want to say, this looks not great, you can do that. But that's not a substitute for deep analysis. Also, I find it suspect if anyone criticizes media that they don't see before it comes out and then amazingly has the same perspective that they thought coming out every single time exactly. That seems kind of weird to me. It almost seems like they force an opinion into the world, but I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
Okay, so before I let Joey speak, I'm going to say this right now. Joey was making an analogy. He wasn't trying to make it political. He wasn't trying to, undermine anything that happened in history. He was just talking about how people come into a culture and they change it. They literally force it to change. That's literally...
Yeah, but it's that... You're not getting it. Chibi, you don't understand. We get that. People get it. The problem is how he said it. Not what he said, but how he said it. The specific example is the problem. If you just said, hey, they just go in and change everything, that's fine. Saying it's like Columbus coming and, committing genocide, that's very different, Chibi. It's a very different comparison. And people have a right to call it out for being ridiculous. No one's saying that Joey is advocating for what Columbus did. They're just saying he's making light of real historical events to talk about cartoons. That's the issue. Not watching. Boku no Pico is nothing by comparison with cuties. Dude, Boku no Pico, that's concerning. Also, Boku no Pico discourse twice in the same stream. That's impressive. That's very impressive. I'm not going to lie. Back to the video.
Literally what he was pretty much saying. And the fact that TikTok is taking like a 30-second to 40-second clip from a 24-minute video and running it and trying to smear Joey is just so disingenuous. It's wild. But
Chibi, isn't your entire channel built on looking at frames of animation and frames of cells and saying this is a sweeping trend across the entire industry of individual shows? Don't you make your bank looking at offhand comments that people make and you act like it's a sweeping trend across the industry? That's a lot longer than 24 minutes of a video, isn't it? Come on, man. You're criticizing others for doing the exact same thing you do. All right? Come on.
But anyways, let me let Joey speak here before I go any further.
It's not that deep. May I remind you, we are literally talking about Japanese cartoons. It's really not that deep, okay? I'm sorry you feel that way, but completely misconstruing the point that I made, not understanding what an analogy is, all from a 30-second Twitter clip,
like I said,
that comes from a 24-minute YouTube video, and making it way too overly political for your own good, it's just not my problem, okay? You've been watching too much anime. You've been on the internet for far too long, so...
Here's the problem with this. No one cares about the cartoon at this point. It's more that you conflated a historical event with a minor trend in anime. That's the point people are upset by. This is one of the worst kinds of apologies because he doesn't get what people are mad about. It's like, hey, it's not that deep, guys. Don't worry. I'm like, nah, that's not what people are mad about, dude. You missed the
Adrian
point.
Parkman super chatted $4.99. A better analogy would be Thomas Edison and his invention patents.
100%. 100%. Easy. Simple, quick thing. Easy, right? That would have been fine. No one would have cared. It's the how you do it. In most cases, it's not what you're doing, it's how you do it. That's a key thing.
Olivia Williams super chatted $1.99. The anti-intellectualism is intense there.
Oh, and trust me, we're going to dive in deeper than this. This is the beginning of it. We're not even getting to the worst yet. I've seen something even worse that will come up soon. But yeah, 100%. That's the problem. It's a matter of, the problem isn't that. Also, it's also dismissing your anime, your Japanese anime, Yeah, it is not that. There are more important things to argue about than cartoons. 100%. I get that. But it's more infuriating to see someone dismiss the criticisms made against them with a comment like that. You see, here's the thing. Personally, when I saw that clip initially, I thought, okay, Joe, you're being hyperbolic. Chill the fuck out. That was my first thought when I heard the Columbus thing. Like, dude, calm the fuck down. That was where I thought. People responded and got offended. TikTok, they get offended by a lot of things. It's like Tumblr back in the 2010s. They get offended by everything. That's all well and good. But the trick to responding to controversy is to say, is to acknowledge fault and go from there and say, oh, I didn't think of it like that. I'm sorry, whatever. Something basic would have been fine. What's so funny is the anime men had a much better apology than the anime man did in the same time frame. But he's just saying, it's not that deep. Nothing bad's going on. Like, no, what you're doing is distracting from what people are upset by, and then also making it sound like you don't really listen to what people are talking to you about. And that pisses off and alienates your fan base. And that's why people have been roasting Joey ever since. This is a terrible response. And I'm not even personally offended by anything. I don't take what Joey says all that seriously. The problem is, though, that what he's doing is spurring on the flames, so to speak. He's spurring on controversy. He's pissing people off more. And, hey, it's not that great.
Why don't we put the phone down slowly, go outside, bask in a little bit of vitamin D, and just relax for a little bit, okay?
My man just told him to touch grass.
Maybe go out there and read a book.
He told him to touch grass.
A light novel.
Stingertopia super chatted $5. These same idiots will claim gay people and trans people are inherently political, but will then act like that statement is a common Southern saying.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. These same people get so upset whenever a gay person shows up in a manga. And keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, because it will come up into play later. Not with gay people, but with Blasian people. We'll get to that. Don't worry. That's coming up next. But for right now, let's take a look right here.
Perhaps, since you seem to enjoy those. But either way, just relax, okay? It's really not that deep.
So, it's interesting that Joey says this, okay? Like, he was responding to Ellen Historian, because the other day I had a run-in with this man as well. And as you can see here, he commented on my post, hot take, if you think fan service doesn't belong in anime and manga, you shouldn't be in the anime community. And he made pretty much this...
Dude, I was clowning on you for that too, actually, buddy, on Twitter. I was kind of saying, hey, buddy, all the fan service in Hamtaro, am I right? Listen, dude, I don't care. Fan service I find boring most of the time, quite frankly, because once you've gotten a little older and you've seen enough fan service shows, you're like, okay, I've seen this before, it's fine, whatever. It becomes like, it gets repetitive, you're like, okay, I've seen this before, whatever. And you kind of fade, it loses it. Once you get over, once you get out of college or high school, fan service kind of loses its appeal, I think, to an extent, unless it's really crazy. Which is why I always say Interspecies Reviewer is so interesting, because like they actually take fan service to an art form. You know what I mean? They really elevate it. A lot of shows with fan service, you're like, okay, it's the same cliche. You've seen it once, you've seen it 100 times, whatever. But yeah, no. So he's just pissy at Ellen Historian, looks like.
This whole TikTok video pretty much saying that fan service, why are people defending fan service and, problematic elements and all that, anime isn't perfect. And this entire thing that Ellen tries to talk about here, he tries to say that I'm saying anime is perfect, and I have never once justified and said anime is perfect. But
no, that's not what he said when the clip you showed. Chibi, show the clip. This new level of anime geek, stop thinking that anime is perfect. Someone pointing out problematic elements within the medium doesn't make them a tourist. You all are so weird. Yeah.
But the thing is that wanting to remove an element that is ingrained in the very DNA of anime and manga is what Joey himself was even talking about. That,
buddy, he's saying critics pointing out problematic elements exist in the medium is not... Dude, what
Olivia Williams super chatted $5. Fan service doesn't serve much now that porn is so easy to access and free.
That's fair.
Terminal Sanity super chatted $5. Really? Chibi couldn't just say, well, that just your opinion?
Yeah, basically not. Apparently not. He couldn't. That's what I find so strange with this whole argument. Like, no one's saying, as far as I know, outside of like clickbait articles that no one is actually taking seriously, even the writers of the articles. No one in the community is saying that fan service doesn't deserve to exist in anime. As far as I know, outside of them, like, I'm sure some people have said it, actually. Let me rephrase that. I'm sure some people have said that, but they're a niche voice. They're not big. Most often, people will see people say, oh, people will criticize a show with fan service and say, oh, the fan service was unnecessary. Oh, I didn't like the fan service in the show. And you'll see people like Chibi go, oh, well, you think fan service should be taken out of all anime ever? I'm like, no one said that. You know?
Super chatted 93 cents. I just arrived on this godforsaken live and y'all have talked about Boku no Pico twice.
Now 3 times.
I see. Also love the cute owl castle thing you have going on.
You're the first person to mention that. Yeah, no one's talked about the cute castle I found on Stream Elements that I shoved in there. Or the ghost either. I'll probably move that way for when Halloween ends. But, yeah, no. Again, the problem here is, Chibi, is that, no one's saying that fan service shouldn't exist ever. Just that some shows over-rely on it. Some shows use it too much. It gets boring. It's dull. It gets repetitive. That's all they're saying. But again, I digress.
Like, you're a tourist. You're someone that is trying to come into the culture and fundamentally change it and remove what makes anime and manga.
Okay, Joey, explain something to me. How is fan service one of the core tenets of anime and manga when fan service exists in all mediums? Come on, man.
Eventually, Ellen Historian makes a response to Joey saying, like, chill out, and he says, responding to the anime man on the anime tourist versus colonization analogy, is anime inherently political? Yes, it is. And obviously, I looked at this, I was disgusted, and I was like, anime is not inherently political, full stop. And
explain how.
And basically, he decided to respond to me, and as you can see here, the rise of anti-intellectualism in the anime community is very concerning. Many of you dismiss the deeper themes and political messages in shows often as a way to cope. And as soon as I saw this, I'm just like, this is the very reason...
Here we go.
Adrian Parkman super chatted $1.99. School's Day, Anthony Gramuglia.
Is that School Days? Like the anime or School's Day? I'm not sure. Oh, School Days. Oh, yeah, School Days is great. School Days, I remember watching when that came out. I was like, this show is fantastic. I love any show that ends with, the main love interest getting, like, skewered by, like, the girl he, like, hurts repeatedly. That's great. Love that revenge. Oh, yeah. Shin-chan is fantastic also. But no, listen. Fan service has a place. When it's there, it's there. When it's not, it's not. That's fine. No one cares. But again, saying anime is not political is reductive. As we have all pointed out, all media exists in a political landscape. Now, Chibi, to give some credit to Chibi, I think what he misunderstands, he conflates all art being political by virtue of existing with all art is sending an intentional political message. Now, not all anime has a loud political message, but all art exists in a political world, ergo it is political. That does not mean, though, that it's communicating an overtly, strongly phrased political message. Not the same thing. Very different. The politics can exist in a work without them stopping and turning to the camera and going, okay, here's the political idea of what we're talking about here. It doesn't have to be Gundam to be political. But I digress. But let's see what Chibi says, because so far all Chibi's doing is saying, he said this. Can you believe he said that? Like, so what are you going to say in response, my dude?
Why people don't like tourists. Like, why people want to gatekeep. It's because not everything is political. Not all art is political. But on top of that, it gets into the point of what Joey was talking about and the disingenuous nature of what a lot of these new anime fans, especially thanks to COVID, are doing to the community.
my guy, actually engage in the discussion. You're saying, oh, well, not all art's political. Okay, explain how.
It's West super chatted $5. Chibi implying anime is nothing without fan service feels way more disrespectful to the craft as a whole.
I would agree. You know, I'd say boiling all art down to it only being valuable as fan service is way more touristy behavior than not. You know, Chibi is acting way more like a tourist than the people he's arguing are tourists. Like, okay, Chibi, actually engage in the discussion for a second, all right? Don't just say, oh, what Joey says in his video that I'm sure you watched for coming here, you know? You watched all 24 minutes of it, right? You know? And again, the problem is he just summarizes things without really even summarizing them. He says, oh, and then he says this, and that's so dumb. Am I right? That's so dumb. He doesn't actually say anything meaningful. He's just it's worthless. It's less than worthless, actually, because it doesn't actually tell you a perspective. The guy can't argue out of a wet paper bag with his hands and fists in front of him. You know? Like, what anime do you like, then? You're saying you like fan service. Okay, that's a preference, but whatever. Sure, okay, whatever floats your boat. You're saying that all anime needs fan service. Okay, a little weirder, but okay, let's... You know, I'm sure Sailor Moon needed its, you know... Sailor Moon, Rent-A-Girlfriend, same type of show, right? You know? Baki the Grappler has its fan service too. You know, it's all good. But again, like, that's the problem. What does any of this mean? How do you argue your point? You're just saying, this is so. But that's not an argument. That's a statement. A statement must be followed by evidence, by supporting detail, by a focus, by a narrative focus to communicate your ideas clearly. The problem is, and again, I don't want to be mean to this guy, because clearly he's trying to fight with people on Twitter, on YouTube, because that's what a successful person in an argument does. Go to another platform to yell about
Seaweed Fanatic super chatted $1.99. You know what's the most political? Italia rolling on the floor laughing.
Yeah, Italia is something all right political.
SM Jida super chatted $4.99. All art is political. Even if all you want to do is entertain, you are trying to convince others your beliefs in what people should be entertained by.
100%. What's funny? Look, Rent-A-Girlfriend. Well, looking at girls is great. You know, looking at women is great. Not a point I disagree with, but that's a political message, you know? Aggressive heterosexuality, too, if you want to really be a pretentious asshole about it, you could say that. But, you know, still, yeah, 100%. Basic stuff. These are basic reads, not even complicated ones. But Joey can't even, not Joey, sorry. But Chibi, I'm seeing Joey's face here, but Chibi can't even do a basic read of the text.
And so I think it's a perfect time than ever to really segue into this topic and really get into the heart of the issue of what is kind of been going on as of late. So first off, we need to talk about, in general, the low-hanging fruit that is fan service and censorship. This is very ingrained in the...
One second.
JD on my soul super chatted $5. Boku no Pico has no explicit political statement, but there are certainly many things that can be discussed.
I think the fact Boku no Pico exists is a political statement, but I digress.
Stingertopia super chatted $5. It feels like they want the monotonous Big Brother, same movie, show, same characters, same, no meaning, society they say they are against all the time.
Yeah, it's like a Brave New World situation. Don't think of concept, just consume product and get excited for next product to consume. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so they're talking about fan service censorship. Let's take a look right here what he has to say. I'm sure it's intellectual and I'm sure it's intelligent. Well, I'm sure.
Cassie Hoge super chatted 93 cents.
Thank you.
While yes, not all anime have an overt political message, they're always ignoring the overt political messages in the animes that have one, i.e. One Piece.
Oh yeah, 100%. If you're missing the messages of One Piece, then I can't trust your opinion in what counts as political or not. If you watch One Piece, a show about pirates rebelling against the world government and having sequences where they oppose capitalistic organizations, oppose industry, oppose colonization, oppose enslavement, impose basically proxy armies fighting wars, and you think that's not political, then I don't know what to tell you, man.
Conversation as of late, because obviously with what we've seen in the last few months or years at this point, there is an active push for anime and manga to censor itself, for certain content within it to be censored. And nowadays you have individuals that used to bully kids back in the early 2000s or 2010s jumping into the anime and manga community and reading things, and they're like, okay, this surface level stuff is good, but if you watch or read the wrong series, then obviously you're going to get bullied or you're going to be called a PDF or whatever. That is the new anime and manga community in the last 5 to 6 years. You have...
That's not new. That's how it's always been, dude. I've been an anime fan for 20 years. Easy.
The Wave Runners super chatted $10. I do think it's an issue with how people handle criticism online in general, where any criticism of a thing they like is seen as a personal attack for them to stop enjoying it.
100% agree. Yeah, that's a big thing right there. Criticizing a thing you like is not the same thing as saying that you're bad for liking it, you know? Or saying that you're bad because you like it. But that being said, I think a big thing is that Chibi, as a big name, draws a lot of people who side-eye him. If you're going to take a moral stance in the ground, people are going to question your moral stance. Yeah, exactly. There's tons of shows I like that are deeply, have some problems to them. Like, I love Evangelion. It's my all-time favorite anime. There's a lot of weird stuff in that. I don't care. You know, I don't care what you say. Again, that's a reality of things. You know, you like something, you associate with the worst traits of it because the internet's hyperbolic. You know, they dive to the biggest message possible and go, okay, here's the big thing that we can hyperfixate on and point to as a big flaw in the ground, you know, whatever it might be. And what Chibi's doing is just saying, oh yeah, no, it's I'm not bad, you're bad actually, you know. And I think it's a bullying complex a little bit. See, the thing I think with guys like Chibi is that they were bullied for liking this, and now in their community they're being bullied by their peers, and rather than maybe accept the fact that they just like weird stuff and they should just accept that, they get mad at everyone else, make it everyone else's problem.
The Ninja Fennec super chatted $7.15. There is an important discussion to have over the fact that unpolitical shows simply upholds the status quo and the societal impact of popular politics not being interpreted as politics at all.
Exactly. And the fact of the matter is they don't perceive it as political because it conforms to their worldview. If it doesn't challenge you, it's not political. But works that do not challenge you are in fact some of the most political works because they endorse your worldview. That's politics. That's heavy politics because you're not being challenged. And that's why there's so much political discussion about like those Little House on the Prairie shows or Hallmark, you know? There's a lot of politics there. They just go under the surface.
Jenna Pateman super chatted $2.67. This is why OP's flag is being used all over.
Yep. It's a symbol of rebellion against authority. Because in the show, it's a symbol of rebellion against authority. It's that simple. It's not complicated, but it is very political.
Those bullies that used to think all anime and manga was cringe or call you a loser, they actively jumped into the community, and now instead of not ever interacting with the community, they're in the community and trying to mold it, shape it, change it, and twist it into something that is no longer anime and manga. And I feel like I need to summarize this in a better way. So
let me ask you this, buddy. What are those jocks that bullied you in high school? Which one of them worked on the anime production? Which one worked on this anime production? Did any of them get a job with the Japanese studio that they filled in the animation, they filled in the outfit? Well, who worked on the production that you know who's a tourist? How exactly did they change tell the Japanese studio specifically to change the design? What did they do? Send a mailing campaign? Was it an email, a very strongly phrased carrier pigeon letter in English? Buddy, this production was in process probably before, on some level, any of these tourists got into anime that you're complaining about. They had no impact on this. This was their choice within Japan. The thing with people like Chibi is they see something that changed, you know, and they say, oh, it must be the tourists' fault. The American tourists influenced the Japanese studio to do this. And they don't consider, say, the political movements in Japan right now, they're trying to conform Japanese media to conform to the standards of the political right party going on in Japan right now, which is happening right now. They ignore the pushes among certain studios to conform to airtime standards that manga simply do not have to conform to. There's a lot of reasons why certain media has to conform to certain standards. That's just the way it is, you know? It's like how a few years ago, a lot of people, including James Summerton, spread a misconception about the anime Yuri on Ice.
Zypher 8677 super chatted $2. Next protest, I'm bringing a Gurren Lagann.
Yes, do it. That sounds great. That sounds amazing. I love that plan.
Olivia Williams super chatted $1.99. I'd be curious to ask them about Akira.
I don't think these people have seen Akira. Let's be honest. They watch fan service shows. They don't watch quality. And good luck asking about Perfect Blue either. Their eyes will glaze over. But the point is, anyway, Yuri Nice. So there was a thing spread for a very long time about the anime Yuri Nice because people were saying, "Oh, Yuri Nice, they don't Yuri and Victor don't get together more overtly in the show. Like they get married, but it's not as overt as some fans would like." And there was a rumor going around that the time slot Yuri on Ice would air on had restrictions that kept them from covering, from presenting that more overtly. And they believed it was Japanese television censorship. This was total bullshit. The anime did not air in the time slot they believed it did, and it was just complete misconception. James Summerton, everyone's favorite plagiarist, spread the story uncritically because he is in fact a plagiarist who did no actual research. But again, so people will just spread misinformation and think they know what they're talking about. And that was a big story spread by big YouTubers. Just as big as Chibi. In fact, more accepted critically because people actually listened to what he said as a critical source of information as opposed to a rager who complains about everything happening in manga differently. Still misinformation. Unless you know specifically on a case-by-case basis why certain decisions are made, you cannot, with any sense of authority, make statements about why something happened. You can say why you think something happened, but you can't say for sure why it happened. You might think tourists are accountable, but you got to quantify that, you know? It's simply that easy.
Basically, imagine you look at anime. You're a mega fan of anime, and it has this content in it that might have, like, a fan service. It might not have fan service. Let's say it has adult themes. Let's say it has themes that, you know, a lot of people might consider icky, so to speak. And just because it makes you uncomfortable doesn't mean that that content shouldn't necessarily be there. It's like Berserk, for instance. Berserk does have a lot of uncomfortable content, but it's there. It's there.
Oh, so you're fine then with, the trans themes in that One Piece then. So you're fine with that. And there's no video on your channel getting mad at LGBTQIA themes existing in anime. Is that right? So by that logic, then anything that makes you uncomfortable is fine, right? That's okay, right? Because as you just said, just because something makes you uncomfortable does not mean it should be removed. So I'm sure there's no videos on your channel right now that gets mad at like any specific anime that exists with themes that you don't agree with. Like let's say a manga about, say, a half Japanese, half black person's experiences in Japan, right? We'll get to that manga later. We'll get to that next. Don't worry.
There for the story. It's there because the artist and author wanted it to be there. There is no other explanation. There doesn't need to be another explanation. If the artist and author wanted it there, it's there. It's their work. It's their story. That's the end of discussion right there.
It's not, though, because Berserk does it well. You know, that's the big difference. Berserk is a great series because it's intentional with its violence and horror. People don't complain about Berserk being violent or disgusting or disturbing because they get why they did it. You know, Miura wasn't accidentally just putting fan service in there. He was presenting genuine nightmare fuel to disturb the audience. Now, you can say it's gratuitous, but I'd say you're dumb. You know, I would say you're wrong, but you can make the argument it's gratuitous. But that's not the same thing as what you're talking about right now. You're saying, hey, this anime has a lot of fan service. I think it's kind of stupid. I don't like the show too much. That's what they're saying, you know? Or in some cases, like the Ellen Historian, this shows a lot of fan service. I don't care about that. I don't care for that too much. I still watch the show. Pretty milquetoast take. The end of discussion is not whether or not the artist chose to do it. That's just simply the intentionality behind the text. The effectiveness in which it works is where you have to be critically and have critical analysis here. Basically, Chibi, what you're arguing is that we should never criticize anything, never examine anything, never exercise our opinions on anything, because if the artist puts it in, that's enough. That's the final say. And not simply, hey, the artist put it in, does it help the work? Does it distract from the core themes of the narrative? Does it entertain me at all? You know, basic shit. Dirty Pair is awesome. I can't wait to... I might do a video on Dirty Pair, actually, which would be fun.
And the point is if it makes you uncomfortable and you really don't like that content, do not interact with that content. Do not dive into that content. Do not read or watch that content. But
why? Why should things be comfortable? We should watch uncomfortable art, I think.
The Wave Runners super chatted $10. Reminder of when my anime list refused to acknowledge Scott Takes Off as an anime even though it fit all requirements, because it was a collaboration with Western production, but still Studio Saru.
Yep, Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, totally an anime, had all the productions, it was a collaboration between countries, not counted. Cannon Busters also had similar problems, I believe, too, Yeah, no, 100%, it's ridiculous. But anyway...
But if it makes you uncomfortable and you still read it, then you don't really have a reason to complain. Which gets back into Ellen Historian, and how he was deeming, like, Mushoku Tensei, for instance, very problematic, and basically things need to be, just, you know, like, ruined or removed, so to speak, because it's...
He didn't say that, though. He said they had problematic elements. That was it.
Problematic or trying to normalize certain things, and I'm just like, no, if you don't like the content, don't interact with it. Just stop. Full stop. Just don't read it. Don't watch it. Just stop. Because all...
Chibi, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've heard in my life. You know that, right? That's stupid. That's really dumb. Okay, so by Chibi's logic, if you don't like something that you've consumed, never talk about it, never discuss it, never tell your friends you don't like it, never say, I didn't care for this one part of a thing I otherwise watched the whole thing of. You therefore don't believe in bad reviews. You don't believe that there should be videos critical about things. You don't believe in things being negative, actually. All praise all the time, only praise. You don't like something, don't talk about it. So what you're arguing is that everyone who's ever given anything a bad review is inherently bad in your opinion, because people can express disappointment or repulsion or discomfort or even simply, I didn't care for this part too much, but I like the rest of it. You can't say any of that, because according to Chibi, unless you 100% like the thing, you can't interact with the audience, with the fan base. That is the single stupidest thing any human being who calls himself a critic has ever said in any capacity. And I've watched Lily Orchard and Shadiversity, and even they think that's stupid. Jesus, this is moronic. This is what I mean when I talk about anti-intellectualism. Don't criticize. Hell, you're criticizing right here. Chibi, you're doing the thing you're saying you shouldn't do by pointing to an anime and saying how bad this is. Are you aware of your own words and what they actually say? Dude.
Obviously, it's not meant for you. The content's not meant for you, or the story or manga, anime, whatever, is not meant for you. Just full stop. And it's like...
Lightning Tiger 77 super chatted $1.99. Off topic, but have you watched Shelby Oaks?
Not yet. I had a chance to watch it this weekend, but we didn't have time, unfortunately, with the baby. Going on dates is tough when you have a newborn, but I do want to watch it desperately.
Jopon super chatted $5. Just did a video on Shimonetta. The politics deal with Japan mainly, but can be easily applied to any other government.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, a lot of politics can be applied. A lot of governments work the same way. There's a lot of differences, but there's a lot of similarities. You know, not every component works the same. Obviously, every government has its own unique quirks and structures and whatever. But a lot of overlapping problems that all people face across the world. You know, that's universal. Anyway.
Like, normalize, if you want to know anything that needs to be normalized, normalize not interacting with media that you don't like or upsets you. That's what people need to normalize, besides just gatekeeping as well, which is very important, but that is something that needs to be normalized.
I think we should normalize people going into art that makes them uncomfortable. I think we should challenge people. I think it's good if art makes you uncomfortable. I think it's actually fantastic when art disturbs you and makes you go, oh dear God, what did I just watch? Because what happens there is it expands perspective, doesn't shrink it down. I'm an advocate for people going out to watching the most disturbing, horrifying, nightmarish stuff they can possibly find because I think it's good for you. I think it's good for you to focus on things that challenge you. Everyone, I think, at some point in their life should watch the movie Come and See. Come and See should be as required of a viewing experience as Saving Private Ryan is in America. You know, it should be essential viewing. By that logic, you should watch Cuties. I don't say everything should be watched, but like, I don't like Cuties, but like, come on. I don't say every disturbing thing you should watch, but you should watch some challenging stuff. You know, not everything, but some stuff. I want to do analysis in the Quan Mitz book. Okay, maybe. Oh yeah, Chainsaw Man was really good. I haven't seen that movie yet either. Again, baby, can't go to the theater as much right now. Point is, you should challenge yourself. Maybe not all the time. You shouldn't shove your face in the dirt and stare at it until the worms come into your eyes. But you should challenge yourself a little bit. You should see things that are different and unique and expand your horizons. Kyla is saying that whatever book they just said was really terrible. I'm not sure what that is. I will trust Kyla's perspective on this one. But again, within reason. Berserk's a great example of that. Berserk is a challenging work. It is disturbing. So, there you go.
But I'm going on a tangent. The big point here is that there is a lot of people now, an active push for a lot of character designs and stuff in like modern day shonen and anime mainstream shows to have censored designs. And I think a very important one is this design right here and how her suit was changed. And it's a very subtle change, and not a lot of people even realize this change, but it is a change fundamentally. And the fact that you have people literally saying they fixed her design is so disrespectful because it is censorship. It is. Like, if you look at the original design, I'll probably have a picture on the screen for you to see. If you look at the design, she does have skin showing, just her arms and legs, and it doesn't really show anything besides that.
How do you know it's skin? How do you know it's skin? Could be skin. Could be skin tight. I've seen the plug suits that it looks the same. You look at, for example, let me show you something real quick. Let me bring this up real quick. Okay, I'm going to show you this real quick. So, here you go. Perfect. Right here, now he's plug suit. You know? If you didn't know, if this was black and white, this would look like skin. If this was black and white, this would look like skin. The shoulders could be skin. No, the legs, these little gaps right here, they could be skin. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. Because in certain angles, they look the same. You know? Yes, the design pattern's different because it goes to the hips and down, and the hips are shaped a little differently. This is a little higher above the hip, you know? Different situation. More of a downward arrow pointing towards another part of the body. I also don't care. You know, they also added texture. They also added shapes to the body to make her look more. Actually, it looks tighter on her here than it does here, which is actually wild. I'd say this outfit looks more scandalous than this one, you know? Her arms are way thinner here, I think. Arms a little thicker here, body's a little thicker in general. So these are all factors.
And it's clearly a
Hell, right here, the boobs are more emphasized here. You kidding? This is more scandalous looking than this one. This is what you're upset by? This is such a nothing burger. Hell, the shading shows the shape of the boobs way more. They're coming out the camera more. Like, this is nothing. You're really upset
John
over this?
Salter, Lasers88, super chatted $5. Not to agree with this fool, but if you look up the manga art in color, her elbows and thighs are definitely exposed.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Okay, they're exposed. But, like, you can make the argument that this would be confusing to an average person. The average reader might see this as just extra parts of the fabric, not as a thigh-high boot. But further, I think the fact that it's way more curvaceous and way more shadowed and shaded is more spicy than the manga art. This looks plain. This looks way more eroticized. And this is what you think is less eroticized than this? Dude, you kidding?
Reference from like old TV movies and stuff from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, there is active designs that are very similar to it. And the point is that you have people wanting the character design to change because it upsets them that a female character is showing some form of skin, and they will go out of their way to call it fixed. And that is why the topic of fan service is so important, is because you have these individuals seeping into the community, trying to change it, smooth down the edges of anime and manga, and then once they do that, they're going to creep even further and get other aspects they deem problematic removed. And that
Chibi, they emphasized her boobs more, dude. Like, come on. You're talking about fan service like this is like some big dude. What do you like? She has no waistline in that initial thing. This is like way more scandalous looking in the anime than the manga. I guess Chibi's like, oh no, we should make it boring and flat looking. Give her no curve. Like, anime, how dare you add curves to this fan service manga? Dude, and what you showed, that could just be an artist misinterpreting what the manga looked like initially, or having a design alteration. That's not censorship, that's adaptation. That's different. Bulma has different hair color in the Dragon Ball anime versus the manga. Is that censorship of dark purple hair? Like, come on, dude.
Is an inherent issue. That is the reason why Joey used the analogy of basically colonists, people trying to come into the community and trying to change it fundamentally from the ground up, because we have seen this. We have seen now that there's even activists within the anime and manga community.
You are the dumbest person in the world.
Stingertopia super chatted $20.
Thank you.
Uncomfortable art is so necessary to see what can and can't or shouldn't be done in media. Terrorizer, Evangelion, Berserk all show why that is so important, and these weirdos worry more about boobs and cheeks rather than story.
100%. 100%. We need more challenging work. We need Perfect Blue again. Perfect Blue came out in theaters. Watch it.
Olivia Williams super chatted $3.57. I want to point out it's the same guys who promote political parties who want to ban porn.
Yeah, that's the craziest part, isn't it? Like, he had the Texas ban up briefly too, and it's like, yeah, you're supporting a group that is actively going to censor anime. You know, like the Rev Says Desus of the world. You know, they promote like, oh yeah, let's promote policies that like are gonna massively censor the medium we care about. You know, this is the dumbest fucking shit in the world. Man.
Within major companies, even in Japan, we have seen this with the whole Bocchi drama as well. So I think
the Bocchi drama, where the art was slightly less scandalous because of television standards in Japan. Okay, the Bocchi drama was because the animation was changed with the manga artist's approval, by the way, because they couldn't show some of the stuff in the manga on Japanese television. It's that simple. It's the actual example, the Yuri on Ice example. There's actually a great video from another YouTuber that goes into it more in detail. Let's see if I can find it. 1 second. It was what was the channel? Oh, crud! I just had them before. It was a good channel. They're a really good channel. Where was it? Not Chibi. You can go. I can't find it. It's going to drive me nuts. Yeah, Chibi did like 5 videos in this Bochi drama, but it was like a big nothing burger again, like unshockingly. Come on, where's the... I can't find the channel. It's driving me crazy. That was a good channel, too. I really liked it. Found me. I found myself before I found her. That's a shame. I like that channel. It's really good. I'll keep looking. If I find it, I'll post it on social media. Anyway. So. It's a nothing burger, basically. And he's not really saying anything of value. Chibi is saying a lot of nothing. Saying a lot of nothing and exposing himself more as a tourist than anything else.
Fundamentally, I feel like anime tourists are a big problem. They are not fans, and I think that if you want to know what is labeled a tourist, it doesn't matter how long you're an anime fan. You could be an anime fan for 20 to 25 years, okay? If you're someone that thinks, like, fan service and stuff is problematic, and you continue to interact with the
Mimi Yuri, I think that's it. Yeah, let me just double check that real quick. Sorry. Yeah, they're really cool. There we go. I found them. Okay, cool. Excellent. Yeah, it's Mimi Mori. This is the channel right here. Sorry. This channel right here. Really recommend. Fantastic. Really good stuff. Did a video on Bochi right here.
Bochi the Rock will go down as one of the greatest adaptations in anime history due to the immense creativity, talent, and hard work from each person at Cloverworks.
Now, right here in, what is that, 10 seconds, Mimi Yuri gives more interest in anime, more analysis, more focus than anything Chibi says here. Basic. These people just have no interest in the medium. They're not really analyzing it. They're looking at photos, looking at PNGs. That's it. If the PNG shifts, that's a bad sign. But, forget analyzing One Piece to analyze its themes. This is why I can't stand certain channels. Like, it genuinely annoys me because it's just anti-intellectualism. All it is saying that we look at, like, one frame of animation, and that means the whole show's terrible, as opposed to actually engaging with the ideas,
form of media, and you think it needs to be removed, that is a tourist. That is a tourist because it has always been in the anime and manga community since the 60s, 50s, 40s, whatever. It's been a long time, way before I was even born. And removing that
Okay, so then you must hate Makoto Shinkai then. He must be a tourist because, as Yoshiyuki Tomio pointed out in many interviews, he felt that Makoto Shinkai's work was inherently sexless and sterile, and that it removed some of the elements of human eroticism that he wanted to put into his work. So by that logic, Chibi, you think Makoto Shinkai, the creator of Your Name, is a tourist. By your logic. Because he does that. Am I right? Are you going to say Makoto Shinkai is a tourist? I'm just taking your logic and applying it to a specific example within the anime industry that we can cite pretty easily. So Chibi is on record saying he believes Makoto Shinkai is a tourist, based on his logic that he's applied elsewhere to other people. And that's someone who's actively making stuff, so that means he's actively removing it. Am I wrong? It's a dumb example, sure, but that's the logic. That's the coherency of it.
Darth Ninja 65 super chatted $5. I stepped out a bit. Did you ever bring up Weeb Crew or FD Signifier?
No, not yet. Not at all yet. But yeah, that's the reality of this. Chibi is making these big grand statements about topics he doesn't understand and act like he knows what he's talking about, but he doesn't, It's simple. Makoto Shinkai's an anime tourist from Japan. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. Chibi does not actually know what he's talking about because he's not really saying anything. He's just word vomiting. He never gave any specific examples, any specific parameters, any specific ideas. He just said, anime is censored, therefore tourists are to blame. It's bullshit, man. He's just full of shit.
fundamentally is very disrespectful, not just to anime and manga, but these artists, these animators that have been working on many different series for decades. It is extremely disrespectful to change things. And one of the other...
Hang on. The animators been working on it for this long. It's bad to change things. The animators are the ones who made the change. The animators did this. This is the animators' decision. They chose to change it. So it's disrespectful for the animators to make a choice about design. Make it make sense to me, Chibi, because you're not making any logical sense.
Other things is the reason why anime and manga is so popular is because it's different. It's because it is not like the West. And that is a...
Okay. What about it not being the same as the West appeals to the Westerners?
Fundamental thing that I think breaks down any argument against what I'm talking about is that the reason why anime has risen in popularity is because people are tired of the storytelling within the West. From Hollywood, from Disney, from Marvel, from DC.
Okay, Chibi. I'm going to show you a single image of an anime that's absolutely not at all remotely inspired by the West. Why would you ever make that comment? How could you ever assume this show was inspired by the West? I mean, listen, no anime ever that's becoming immensely popular has ever been inspired. You know where this is going. You know where this is going. No anime has ever been inspired by Western media at all. Nope. Oh, and by the way, Chibi, one of the most popular shows of all time, and having a resurgence again, is Trigun, the anime Trigun. You know, Vash the Stampede, all that. Do you know that Trigun was heavily inspired by Spider-Man specifically? In fact, most Japanese media, a lot of your Japanese media is heavily inspired by Spider-Man specifically, which is a Marvel property. Spider-Man was brought over as a TV show in Japan. You know, you had, Spider-Man. All your Super Sentai shows, they draw heavily from Spider-Man. Kamen Rider, heavily influenced by Spider-Man. Vash Stampede specifically, the fact he wears red is a direct reference to Spider-Man's outfit. And of course, there's the character named Monev, one of the various bad guys Vash fights. Monev is introduced lifting weights in a dark room. He wears a dark and purple costume. Monev's name spelled backwards is Venom, the same way Venom is introduced in the comics where weightlifting.
Tinbo super chatted $5. Why'd I have a feeling this is heading to black people in media is politic?
Oh, because it is. Oh, it absolutely is. Don't worry. We'll get there. That's half the thumbnail after all. We have a lot of tourists who have comments on anime that will show actual tourists commenting on anime very quickly, because Chibi is very upset by anime fans who read an entire work criticizing it. But let's see something here for a second. Chibi, would you say
Can you believe it?
Would you say someone going into an anime... Oh, sorry. Super chat?
Soak Chua super chatted $1.99. Father of anime Tezuka totally didn't love Disney.
Not in the least. No. Totally not. Now, we have right here a lot of censorship. I'm noticing one thing Chibi is ignoring, however. There is an example of a lot of tourists commenting on anime right now. In fact, one massive controversy has come up recently about where tourists are criticizing anime and trying to push against Japanese creators right now. Oh, who's in here? Oh, hey, Lazy, what's going on? I saw you there. Hey, Lazy, what's going on? I saw Kyla say hi to Lazy. Like, oh, hey, what's going on, Lazy? But yeah, we have a big controversy right now in... Oh, yeah. Oh, I just got a message from...
The Wave Runner super chatted $5. My biggest anime hot take is that I think a Netflix adaptation of JoJo Phantom Blood, produced in the same way as One Piece, could go really hard.
Yeah, no. I love this. This is a message from Crimes New
Terminal
Roman,
Sanity super chatted $3. My Hero Academia is basically Japanese X-Men.
Yeah, no. Oh, that's a good take. I just got a message from Crimes New Roman about the Colleen manga video. I'm like, yeah, no, it's a great video. I'm glad we both recommended it. It's fantastic. Nice.
Alley Cat super chatted $2. The Big O2 only exists because of Western fans.
Yeah. So again, 100%. So again, another thing. Crimes New Roman approved. Colleen manga Rex agreed. 100%. But yeah, let's take a look at the juice here. So let's take a look at what happens when a complete tourist does try to tell people what Japanese media should do.
So the biggest publishers of English manga, Viz Media, have announced that they're bringing out a brand new title. It's gone viral on Twitter because it's about a mixed race person living in Japan facing microaggressions and racism. Yeah,
This is what a tourist looks like. This is a tourist. This is a kid named Ranting for Vengeance. You might have heard of him. This is what tourism looks like. Yeah. So Ranting for Vengeance is one of many people who have bought the grift online, who believe that Disney's all woke and everything. Now, he's pointing to Viz, saying Viz is English manga distributors talking about this manga. A manga written in Japan by a person who lived and grew up in Japan. Yeah, this is where it gets interesting. So this is an example. Now, again, Chibi said that all these new fans coming in and trying to change manga around. Well, here we have an example of someone trying to spring a mass harassment campaign against a Japanese manga creator for telling a manga based on their personal experiences. Because like it or not, the creator's Japanese. Oddly Noah did a pretty good video about this, where he did go into specific details. But let's look at Ranting for Vengeance and his commentary that gets average channels demonetized by speaking.
You already know that this is going to be ultra retarded. But before we get into it, if you like these type of videos and you want to help out the channel, then maybe consider subscribing or supporting me over on Patreon. So Viz Media have done good jobs in the past, publishing stuff like Fist of the North Star in its entirety, which I will applaud them for, but they don't do nearly enough. There's so many classic titles from the 60s, 70s and 80s that are absolutely amazing and nobody's ever read in English.
Oh yeah, no one's ever read Lupin the Third. Or Jesus Christ.
English. And Viz Media, the biggest proponent in bringing those works to the English audience, are not even trying at this point, but I'll get into...
Buddy, that's because different companies own the distribution rights to those manga. You see, the thing about that Ranting Vengeance does not understand because he's a tourist is that a lot of Japanese publishers have English imprints. These English imprints allow them to directly distribute manga from the parent company into the American company. Now, let's look for a second at who owns Viz Media. Viz Media. Quick little discussion. Viz Media, their current owner, yes. Viz Media is owned by the Shokugaku and Shueisha. So, okay, Ranting for Vengeance, Viz is a subsidiary of a Japanese company. Viz is owned by Shueisha. Who are Shueisha? The publishers of Shonen Jump.
JD on my soul super chatted $5. Cyborg009 challenged prejudice, including against Hafu, in 1964. Guess woke time travelers invented Sentai.
Exactly. Now, you said right there Lupin the Third, right? Lupin the Third. Who published Lupin the Third's manga? Well, that was published originally in Weekly Manga Action. Weekly Manga Action is owned by...
Loki the Glock super chatted $5. I don't know what's worse. Hating black people in anime, manga, or treating the Japanese creators as insulated, innocent, apolitical little beans.
Exactly. They're both equally patronizing and terrible. So, Ranting for Vengeance is upset that Viz Media doesn't publish Lupin the Third, right? Well, Lupin the Third was originally published in Manga Action. Manga Action was owned by the company Futabasha. Futabasha is not owned by Shueisha. So therefore, this would be as logical as getting mad at Warner Brothers for not making a new Spider-Man movie. That's how dumb this is. He is arguing that Viz a subsidiary of Shueisha, one of the biggest manga publishers in Japan, should distribute Lupin III, a manga published by Shueisha's competitor. Tourists. Fucking tourists. Be like getting at Kodansha for publishing something that Viz should publish instead. Oh, and by the way, Lupin III, let me see if I can get the manga here. Lupin III's manga is published in English. You can get it right now on Amazon, easily. And its publisher in the West, its distributor, is 7 Seas. 7 Seas is distributing Lupin III right now. At this very moment, 7 Seas is doing it. Viz doesn't have to do it because 7 Seas is doing it. Tourists.
To that more in a second. So this is the tweet. Announcement. Being mixed race in Japan means facing daily trials of racism, microaggressions, and otherness. Whatever the hell all of that retardation even means. This is a journey of resilience and hope and the search for coexistence. The name of the manga is Half is More, which is some spasticated thing about being half Japanese. And the mangaka, which I don't even care about butchering the name, Yoiko Fujimi, which sounds like a Japanese person, right? All you have to do is the smallest bit of research to realize that, yeah, there is woke manga and anime, just like everything that has ever existed. There's gonna be manga and anime about wokeness and being gay. It's not some big gotcha when you come down into my comment section like a retard and say that you do know that there's some gay manga out there. Yeah, that's like me saying I love movies like Rambo and Predator and Cobra and Die Hard, and then you come in and say that, well, you also know there's gay movies, right? Like,
you're gonna. I'm gonna let him take the rope for himself because he's making this whole big preamble about how much he hates gay manga. But just wait till he gives an example of a manga that's not gay at all, remotely. I'll let him take the rope for himself first. Don't worry. It's funny. It's so funny what examples he pulls out of his ass.
Brokeback Mountain. It's like, yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. It makes absolute zero sense, and the only people who do it are fake fans, tourists, or handicaps who always want to come in and...
Yes, a fake fan who would think that Lupin III should be distributed by Viz Media, the competitor of the publisher who publishes Lupin III. It took 5 seconds of research, dude. Come on.
Adrian Parkman super chatted $1.99. OMG, it's reverse gender Psy.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. Oh, that's mean to Psy. Damn, that's funny though, but that's mean to Psy.
Prove you wrong. Your argument makes no sense. So here we are on the worst place on...
No, don't worry. Again, keep it in mind. He hates gay manga. Just remember that, because he's gonna say something in about 5 minutes that's so fucking funny with that in context. You're gonna laugh your ass off.
Planet Earth and the internet, Reddit, on r/mixrace. Now this is being put up in celebratory fashion, the fact that, look at this manga that's about being mixed race, and the top post just reveals it all. The person making this manga is a woman who is half Spanish and half Japanese.
Yes.
Now I don't know about you, but I take my manga from people who actually come from Japan.
She came from Japan. She was born in Japan. By the way, let me explain something right now to you. What country offers the biggest quantity of immigrants into Japan? It's not an Asian country. It's Brazil. So she's Japanese. She's a Brazil. Her family is from Brazil, who emigrated. Part of her family's from Brazil. They immigrated to Japan. She was born and raised in Japan. Now again, let's look at what Chibi said before. Didn't Chibi say this before? Let's look what he said. Let's make sure I remember that correctly. Chibi, you said...
Can you believe it?
What did you say
before? It's become more and more common for the avocation of censorship of anime and manga, and even topics like, is fan service even necessary for anime? And get other aspects they deem problematic. It does...
I want to hear what Chibi said again, because I want to recall, I forget specifically what he
have
said.
Skin showing, just her arms and legs, and it doesn't really show anything besides that, and it's clearly a reference from, like, old TV movies and stuff from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. There is active designs that are very similar to it, and the point is that you have people wanting the character design to change because it upsets them that a female character is showing some form of skin, and they will go out of their way to call it fixed. And that is why the topic of fan service is so important, is because you have these individuals seeping into the community, trying to change it, smooth down the edges of anime and manga, and then once they do that, they're going to creep even further and get other aspects they deem problematic removed. And that
Stingertopia super chatted $2. Same guy didn't understand Superman's core BTW.
100%. But it's funny, Chibi's so mad about fan service, he should be just as mad at this guy, right? I mean, because he's just saying himself, you know, these tourists come in, they try changing things. Just as bad, right? Right? Let's find out. That's not that one. Oh, here we go, right here.
And aren't just some mixed-race retard with a vendetta. And there has been a lot of great women in manga who've made some of the most iconic works like Full Metal Alchemist and Sailor Moon. But it kind of adds to the spastication of this manga and the people celebrating it when the person making it is one big self-insert. Maybe.
So the manga artist behind Full Metal Alchemist made a manga about farms because she grew up on a farm one time.
The Greek Weeb super chatted $20. I cover 4 Nights of the Apocalypse, 7 Deciseconds sequel, and Fairy Tale Weekly, but I always call out weird, problematic stuff like the Jericho situation and still get called a tourist anyway for some reason.
You can never win. The only thing you can do is keep fighting for what you think. That's all you can do. You can't win with everyone, so you just got to do what you got to do. So, also, I want to point out one thing. Amazing manga, right? Like Sailor Moon, which, by the way, he said before, he hates gay manga. He hates all the gay stuff. He can't no gay stuff in anything. But you just promoted Sailor Moon, which is one of the gayest manga you possibly could have supported. Use as a good example. So you love Sailor Moon, but you hate gay manga. Make it make sense.
Alley Cat super chatted $2. Fun fact: FMA is allegorical to the Ainu genocide.
Exactly. The Ainu genocide. It also draws heavily from Germany and the Nazis. You know, as a negative. So again, you're acting like there's something so bad about quote-unquote woke manga, but you also then promote tons of these manga that are outright. And by the way, if anyone argued that Full Metal Alchemist was not political, I'd have to laugh in your face. That one is one of the most overtly political manga possible. That's popular.
Maybe go in, write a book about your life, and not really a manga, because it looks pretty sucky and the art is pretty shit. I'm gonna have to...
Again, going in, telling... Didn't Chibi say directly that you shouldn't do that? I'm sure Chibi has a bunch of videos about this manga and this situation. I'm positive. Reasonably confident, right? Right? Surely he does.
Soap Chua super chatted $4.99. He says, whatever that shit is, to the struggles listed, then continues to do exactly all those things because she's not Japanese. It writes itself.
Exactly. Even though she's from Japan, grew up in Japan, and he's never set foot in Japan. Exactly.
The guy 493 super chatted $5. Okay, everyone I have known that was this performatively outraged towards gay people turned out to be gay. Just saying.
Yeah, they doth protest too much. I agree.
Darth Ninja 65 super chatted $2. This is an ultra satire channel, right?
No, he's dead serious. He believes everything he's saying.
John Salter, Lasers88, super chatted $5. To reiterate something I said last time we covered this guy. His screen name is a reference to Judas Priest, which has an openly gay frontman.
It's ironic, isn't it?
The Misnik fan super chatted $5. He probably watched that one dub and thought they were cousins.
That might be even worse. Well, he might like the cousins aspect, I guess.
Russell Kurashich super chatted $5. Half is more sounds interesting.
Yeah, it does.
I'm mixed race myself. My mom's side of the family are Japanese Americans.
It makes me honestly want to read it, honestly.
Lightpost Films super chatted $7. I could make a ton of jokes about this guy.
Oh, 100%. There's a ton of jokes that write themselves. But just wait, it gets funnier.
to ramble a bit here because when you come down into the comment section, you get hit with the biggest handicaps on Earth. So this guy comments, Great Mazinger had this plotline in 1974. Now, for those who don't know, but a lot of you probably do, Mazinger Z is a
Mazinger Z. Okay.
Stingertopia super chatted $5. Honestly, ranting needs to be kept away from the screen for a while. Although knowing this guy, he'd likely Anne Frank's autobiography is woke nonsense.
He would say that's woke nonsense, the real history of life.
Manga and anime from the 70s, created by Go Nagai. You can go watch my video on him and his excellent works like Devilman and Violence Jack.
That's why I started losing it with laughter. Devilman. Mind you, Ranting for Vengeance hates gay manga. He hates it so much. Should I take up the clips? Should I I didn't even take that. Oh, it took 7 seconds to find
The Wave Runners super chatted $5. Going back to the Mal Scott situation, they started arguing Abel Gongora directing delegitimized it, even though he's established in the industry.
Exactly. 100%.
Cassie Hosh super chatted 93 cents. Fun fact y'all probably already know, Brazil is the country with the biggest amount of Japanese people outside Japan.
Yep.
Also, Brazil mentioned green heart, yellow heart.
There you go. Also, again, just want to point out, he said that this anime wasn't gay. That this was the straightest anime he could think of. This one right here, very heterosexual. Devilman, arguably the big influence up behind friggin' Kaoru Nagisa from Evangelion, behind Griffith from Berserk, being the flamboyant men that they are, the straightest anime of all time, very heterosexual. It's like saying JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is, it's the jokes write themselves. He has no clue what he's talking about. He's making these big statements like, oh, Devilman, it's such a Violence Jack, such a manly series with shirtless men holding each other tightly. Yeah, Go Nagai has never made anything that was entirely heterosexual. Go Nagai was subversive as hell. Go Nagai pushed against censorship limits because he thought it was funny. Go Nagai is the man. The guy did not hold himself back for anything. And Devilman's ending is a proof that he didn't have any care about censorship at all. He went all out with
super chatted $9.12. Is it just me or are all these supposedly pro-art, anti-censorship peeps get really weird when artists make stuff that draws from their life experience, art? Make it make sense.
Oh, 100%. That's the funny thing. Chibi has posted about 4 or 5 videos today, or the last few days, and has not mentioned once the controversy surrounding this manga. Almost as though to even discuss the controversy would be to expose his own hypocrisies. Because his audience is well aware that he can't side against the popular narrative about this manga, but he also can't talk about it without compromising his morals. So he's refused to even engage with it. I think it's odd, selective, one might say.
If you want to get into his manga, because it's some of the most awesome stuff out there that is being twisted by freaks like this guy on Twitter. But the guy's not lying. This anime back in 1974, the main character's girlfriend was half Japanese and half black. And sometimes it propped up as a plot point on how they were discriminated against. Which I'm not saying doesn't happen, because Japan, unlike every single Western country, has some standards. You know,
so a little subtle racism there from a kid who needs to learn how to use a shampoo bottle, but I digress. Point is, he's reading a wiki. You can see his eyes off camera. He was reading the Wikipedia article about this video on video, because he didn't know what he was talking about. He never heard of Great Mazinger before, I'm sure. He never saw it, and quite frankly, and I know I read off scripts a lot too, but like, he's so transparent about it. He's like looking off camera, you know, because he's just running off with his mouth. He doesn't actually plan this out. He just goes off off the top. So, yeah, this guy is straight up eugenicist, 100%. Oh, and Lazy, have you ever heard this? You ever seen this kid before? He actually, apparently his dad's a grifter. And I think he's just bought the grift. And if you look at his videos, he's increasingly become like dingier and darker with every single video. Like, it's a whole thing. I think he thinks it looks cool, but it makes him look ridiculous.
Something that a lot of other countries could actually learn from, where you actually care about your own country's people and you're proud of them. To me, that isn't really something to be looking down upon. So yeah, when you show up blasting rap music and trying to steal crap, Japanese people might have a problem with it. And
one of the most popular anime of all time, Bleach, drew heavily from black culture, including having rap songs as some of their openings and songs around it. There's gonna be a Batman. Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about there, Lazy. Yeah, he did a lot of videos like that. He's a reoccurring face on these in these circles. So the author is Japanese, born and raised in Japan, knows Japanese culture better than you do, Ranting, because she grew up in Japan, lives in Japan, and this is a Japanese publication. This was published in Japan. So, Ranting, I want to just reiterate here, because Chibi pointed this out, is yelling that Japan should censor something because it makes him uncomfortable.
The guy 493 super chatted $2. These aren't dog whistles. They are train horns.
Exactly. Oh yeah, Samurai Champloo, Afro Samurai. All major examples of rap music in Japan. There are multiple Japanese bands that are popular that are inspired by rap. If not, they're just outright rap bands from Japan. Gachakuta, which I've not seen yet, but I hear is fantastic. I probably mingle the name, is heavily inspired by black culture. Heavily. I don't know what to tell you, Ranting, but I think you don't understand Japan all that well, and you're acting as though you can speak for them because it's your fetishized wonderland of closed borders with immigration. That's all it is.
Personally, I highly respect that. And this guy here puts it perfectly, saying that that character wasn't the biggest thing in the manga. And just like what I was saying a second ago, yes, there can be stuff about gay people and black...
Okay, so... The manga has a nefarious goal of the author sharing her life experience in writing. Yes, because when we take random Twitter users who could be bots as like the gospel truth and authority on matters, we actually don't realize that, hey, this is all bullshit. A lot of bullshit. It's all bullshit. You know, that's the reality of it. Ranting for Vengeance is a tourist, plain and simple. I think we get the idea across. But let's keep going and see how far down he digs the hole.
Black people and some liberal ideas in tons of old anime and manga, but that's all it is. It's usually in the background and not in your face. Like Mazinger said for...
Just want to say that yes, you should all watch and or read Geishakuta.
Yes, Geishakuta. Thank you. Yeah, 100%. Down for that. Point of the matter is, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And as the video goes on, he goes into more examples of manga that include diversity in them and tries to pretend that that's not really what's going on here. Let's dive in a little further.
9 and Skullman. Truly, before I continue, if you haven't looked into Ishinomori, then you should, because I'm only starting getting into what this guy's worked on, but already...
Do we need more evidence he's a tourist? Like this is a tourist. This is a tourist. This is what I'm talking about. Someone who's just discovered the work and is making authoritative declarations of what the entire media of Japan should do based on what makes him personally uncomfortable. Chibi maybe was right about something. Maybe he was right, but not in the lens he thought it. He's not talking about light novel historian criticizing a manga he's familiar with. It's guys like this that go around and argue Japan and Japanese authors should change what they write because he personally, someone outside the demographic and audience that the writer is writing for, doesn't like it. Also, Kamen Rider is extremely political and doesn't seem to like Nazis all that much.
Stingertopia super chatted $5. I wonder how he'd twist something like DMC or Halo. Heck, something even more obvious like the original Gundam, Transformers, or the Metal Gear series.
Oh, probably terribly, I'm sure.
Most of it is absolutely insanely good. Like, you can't put into words how revolutionary and just plain awesome this guy is.
And was also directly inspired by Spider-Man. The Spider-Man Sentai show would heavily influence the direction Kamen Rider went in.
Only started watching Kamen Rider Black recently, and to be honest, it beats every single superhero movie ever made.
And was incredibly influenced by Spider-Man. Without Spider-Man, you wouldn't have Kamen Rider. So again, ranting, you don't understand the entire history of the medium you're focused on.
Could be an entire different video, so if you'd like to see that, do let me know. But the point is that this guy got destroyed for making up some bullshit narrative that never happened. The main character in Cyborg 009 is half American and half Japanese, and the team of cyborgs in that badass manga are diverse. Some of them are Italian, French, British, African. One of them is even a woman. This is just something that's super simple. It used to be in classic movies, TV shows, books, and comics, and people wouldn't make it retarded. It's not some gotcha to turn around and go, hey, you know the original crew of Star Trek had black women on it. Every single person knows that, and nobody has a problem with it. They only have a problem with it when it's your main point that you're trying to make, that you're shoving it in people's faces.
We can now add Star Trek to the list of things he has no comprehension of. Buddy. 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 Martin Luther King got involved with Star Trek. Like, how do you not know? How do you not know this? This is basic history of television right there. The first interracial kiss that was, well, not the, I think there was like one before that, but like one of the first major interracial kisses, a massive controversy, one that the studio tried to fight against putting in the movie in the show, but the crew just pushed through it. Like, you are dumb. You are deeply dumb. Okay, I'm done with this guy. He's done. Okay, let me try a different face. But again, Chibi here has opinions, you know? But I'm sure, you know what? I'm sure we can find someone more fair, a more intelligent person, one might say. Someone who's not a tourist, someone who's experienced in this field.
Lightpost Films super chatted $1.50.
Let's bring in someone who's an authority. I think we have room for one more video. One more video to respond to, I think. Oh, another comment.
Loti the Bunny super chatted $4.99. His obnoxious claims remind me he lacks understanding of cultural exchanges of both East and West. Then utterly Noah mentioned this. So annoying.
100%. He has no perspective of anything like that. People like Oddly Noah actually do some research on this stuff and know basic information. But I'm sure we can find someone who's now, if you've more intelligent, maybe. I don't know. Someone who isn't a tourist. Someone with experience in the comic industry. I'm sorry. I can't say it with a straight face. We're going to fucking Eric July. I'm sorry. I couldn't keep the face going straight for too much longer. So, massive tourist, Eric July, someone who had to be reminded Amazing Fantasy 15 is the first appearance of Spider-Man, decided to also talk about this manga. And if you haven't seen the Birdman's response, he responds in ways that I cannot. So I will not acknowledge that perspective of it. But good old Eric July decided to step into this controversy. Wow, he's really fallen off. Not under 10,000 views with 500,000 subscribers in 7 days. Jesus. Anyway, quick video, not too big, but we're going to wrap it up with this one. Eric July is, in my opinion, one of the biggest tourists possible. Palate cleanser afterwards. My palate cleanser is taking care of my son later. Again, Chibi, what was it you said before? What was it you said before? I want to remember what you said before, Chibi.
trying to change it, smooth down the edges of anime and manga, and then once they do that, they're going to creep even further and get other aspects they deem problematic removed. And that is...
Yeah, right? They want to get problematic elements removed, right? It's what Chibi said, of course. Let's take him at his word and just assume he meant this and not, boobies, breastily booblies. Eric July, what did you think about the manga about... Now, mind you, Eric July is in a unique position. He is both a grifter and a black man. And so he is now seeing a work about a person of color in Japan. Not a superhero manga. Both Eric July made comics about black people. They believe we're not politically correct. So he's in a position where, hey, another creator made their story. Did the same thing you did, Eric. Same thing you did. So what's your response to this manga?
Now, if you've been following me, you know I've spoke about this a countless amount of times. A lot of videos that I used to do on YouTube was talking about tokenization, what some call maybe blackwashing, taking these characters that are classically or have been classically portrayed in one way, and they swap them, and oftentimes it's for social or political reasons. But there was a post that I see that came from Viz Media. There's been a lot of conversations being had here, and I wanted to chime in on it. Let's just get right into it. If you guys can see it here, you'll see that Viz made an announcement on October 17th. It says, being mixed race in Japan, like Kazubi, means facing daily trials of racism, microaggressions, and otherness. This is a journey of resilience, hope, and the search for coexistence. Half is More, Volume 1 by Yoiko Fujimi. Now, there's been this response that I'm looking at right now. There's someone that quotes and says, stop blackwashing characters, make your own characters, saying basically others say that. And then he says, but when they make their own characters, y'all get mad. Well, that unfortunately completely misrepresents what people have been saying about this subject matter.
There we go. That's what I expected of you, Eric. That's what I expected. You talk about a very specific thing and just like, oh, I can't toe the line against my grifter brothers because they won't watch me anymore. That's all it is. You're just grifting to them by saying, hey, this work that's completely different from what I described as tokenism this entire time. Again, tokenism has nothing to do with this work. There's no race changing. It's an original work, an original project, not made for a massive audience. It's a private, grounded, realistic work. Let me ask you something, Eric. Are people not allowed to make autobiographies? Are they not allowed to draw from life experience for grounded stories about specific life experiences? Hell, it's not even the first manga about someone being discriminated against because of their skin tone. Or has everyone in this world forgotten about one of the most popular manga of the 2000s? I haven't, because I myself have... Oh, not that one. That's the Amazon page. I'll go into that page right now. Just the image. There. I have not forgotten about Peach Girl, and neither should anyone else. I think it's Peach Girl, right? Yeah, Peach Girl was where... So, because of her hair color, her blonde hair color, people treat her, the main character, as a stereotype, as a dumb, as flirty. This is an example of a manga that was highly popular about someone being discriminated against because of their appearance in Japan. Simple example. Why is it that this manga does the same thing is somehow worse than this one?
Stingertopia super chatted $10. These guys, don't put it in our stories, put it in your own. We don't want to see it in our stuff. Was already there. Also these guys, when somebody does We never said that, or actually this is bad too.
Exactly. Eric July went on a whole big tangent about how Miles Morales is tokenization, how it's so bad that we should make their own characters, they make their own original characters that are black. Well, now someone is doing that, and the grift wants you to hate on it. So what's your backtracking, Eric? How do you slide back with art behind you of your original black characters and say that this artist making their own black characters is somehow bad? Let's take a listen.
Matter, and it totally misses the point here. That's it. It's
really
not as
telling.
nuanced as what some people may think.
It's not as nuanced.
It's really simple if you want to
Really?
get down to the
Tell me.
nitty-gritty of things.
Explain it to me.
Okay. There is the more blatant aspect of it all. Obviously, folks take exception to seeing these tokenizations.
How's a
But there's
token?
another thing that we talked about as well. When these original black characters are created, if they are not, let's say, based upon some other, again, classically non-black character,
Oh, really?
oftentimes you get the heavy reliance upon these
heavy, huh?
tropes in
Tropes.
which a core part of their storyline narrative is dealing with race, racism.
Really? A story about being racist in a country you don't understand is tokenizing? How's it tokenizing? How's it tokenizing? Explain that to me. Because I always thought tokenizing was when they were kind of like in the background of a story that didn't really, have much of a role or anything like that. When they were just there as like a surface level example. That's what a token is, as far as I was always aware. But maybe you have a different definition of token. What does token do you mean? Mean they exist at all? Curious. And a character having their race exist in a country that is primarily one ethnicity. I can't imagine why that'd be relevant in that kind of narrative. Why would someone who looks distinct face discrimination in a country that is 98% native Japanese? Odd.
Sam last name super chatted $1.99. Who is worse? Ryan or CD Call?
Always Lily Orchard. Always Lily Orchard.
Loti the Bunny super chatted $4.99. That is truly hypocritical when their original work reminds me of anime like Full Metal Alchemist and 86 that explores this even in fiction settings.
Exactly. Also, there's another element to this that Eric July and Ranting Vengeance haven't mentioned. They haven't read the manga. So you have no idea what actual tropes are in the manga. You actually don't know what you're talking about. The commenter, he's saying this is within the black fatigued Western perspective. I'm glad you pointed that out, actually. I'm glad you said that specifically, because the Birdman actually does have a point about this. That the term black fatigue is completely misinterpreted. Black fatigue exists not as people being tired of stories about black people, but rather black people tired of talking about racism. And that's a factor. That's fair. Totally different message, though. This is not about that, though. This is about a Japanese person writing a story for a Japanese audience that's being distributed in America. Black fatigue is a term coined by black activist. The Birdman's video has more detail about it. That has nothing to do with. That has to do with black people tired of discussing racism. Because I'm sure any black person in my audience can confirm this. It gets exhausting talking about other people trying to justify your existence. And I'm not the best equipped to discuss it. The Birdman video does go into detail more about the origins of about that term and how it's been stolen by people on the right, specifically white people on the right, to describe something that's basically try to justify their own racism, but I digress.
Some sort of thing in that nature, and it's boring. Let's be completely honest. It's overused. It's predictable.
It's overused in Japanese manga? Okay, so Eric, how many Japanese manga feature that as a core component? That specific topic of biracialness. How many manga can you think of that talk about that? So can you talk not about American media? American media is not the case. We're talking about Japanese media. How many Japanese manga have that discussion? Again, Chibi, what was it you just said before? What was it that you were talking about before? Not wrong one. What was it, Chibi, you said? What was it again?
trying to change it, smooth down the edges of anime and manga, and then once they do that, they're going to creep even further and get other aspects they deem problematic removed. And that—
Yeah, isn't that strange, Chibi? I agree with you fully. Eric, what's your response to that?
For some reason, these guys have not figured it out. A lot of people have not figured it out, especially more so in the mainstream, more front-facing entertainment properties. They have not figured out the fact that you can create a character that just happens to be black, and they can have other things about them that are intriguing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that takes a lot of work. It may take—
No, it doesn't actually. It takes even less work than discussing realistic social issues through a realistic lens. It's actually very easy to just have a character show up. A character who just shows up who's black, who only exists in a tertiary role in the narrative. What was those called again? There's a word for them. Oh, that's right. Token characters, right? Describing a token character. Or you're describing a character not defined by race. That's fair too. And those exist in manga as well. Like in Bleach, for example. A lot of black characters exist in Bleach. But the problem is this. Yeah, they are characters who exist, who are black, who are not defined by racism done to them. This is not that story, though. This is a story about racism in Japan for a Japanese audience who does not see this kind of discussion so often about their culture. So what the fuck are you talking about, you individual who has such a lovely discussion of this topic? You grifter.
even years, decades even, for some of these characters to catch on. Absolutely. But this reliance upon their race and saying that they basically have to deal with that.
Seaweed Fanatic super chatted $4.99. There seems to be no sign intelligent life anywhere.
Exactly. Well, among grifters, there is none. So again, he has to change the definition of tokenism. He has to change the definition of everything, to twist the definition to prove his own grift holds merit. Of course, the problem here is that it's very transparent. He's trying to tell manga artists what they can and can't write. And saying it's very simple. You can make characters like that. Yeah, you could make characters like that. This artist didn't. So you're getting mad at someone creating an original character who you don't like after arguing all this time, saying, write your own stories. Now you're telling them they can't write their own stories. Now you're saying it's not the characters, it's the very idea of them. Even though many of the characters you complained about previously didn't have those same tropes applied to them. So now we're adding tropes, but also that contradicts what we said before about other characters. Curious.
Aspect of it, people often reject it. So you're not necessarily creating this original character, or rather you're relying on this trope that people find off-putting and boring.
The author is drawing from her life experience to tell the story. Are you telling me that the character's life, that the artist's life is boring?
Now, I've obviously created several characters myself over here at the Riververse. Some happen to be black, some not. And that's one of the things that it's just not as difficult as people may make it out to be. And there are those that are out there that love these topics constantly being...
Right, so what was it that you said again? What are you doing right now? Was it this?
Into the community, trying to change it, smooth down the edges of anime and manga, and then once they do that, they're going to creep even further and get other aspects they deem problematic removed. And that...
See, I almost called you a grifter before, Eric, because I wanted to hold back on saying what I really want to say. The word I really want to call you. A tourist. Because that's what you are. A tourist. You're going into a medium you don't understand, telling the artists what they can and cannot write, using your large platform, which again is much smaller than you really seem to believe it is, to argue what you should and shouldn't be, what you should and shouldn't make. That's what he's doing. Tourists. That's tourism. That's anti-intellectualism in anime culture.
Adrian Parkman super chatted $1.99. I can give the word pass, Anthony.
No. The word you don't need that. I'm not looking for that word. He's a tourist. He's anti-intellectual. That's all he is. That's worse than any insult I could ever say otherwise. He is, of course, just a tourist. one who speaks and tries to define what anime is or isn't. And these are the people who are directing the conversation in those circles.
The Wave Runners super chatted $2.
Yeah.
Almost called you a twee tourist, Anthony G, 2025.
A Twitter user? I don't know what you're referencing. I'm confused by that one. But anyway. So, yep, he's a tourist. almost called you a Twitter user. That might be the worst insult possible, honestly. Anyway, so that's all I gotta say for these guys. That's all I gotta say for them. They're not worth your headspace. They direct the conversation. This is good. This video is excellent. Watch this one. This video is excellent. You should watch this one. This video sucks. Don't watch that one. This channel, watch this channel. Bonsai Pop, fantastic.
Sam last name
This
super
channel,
chatted
fantastic.
$1.99. Who would win in a fight? Freddie K or Lily? Easy
Freddy
W.
Krueger? Oh, Freddy, easy. Freddy, not even in quotes. Twink. Oh God, imagine calling Eric July a twink. That'd be terrifying. Not terrifying. That'd be hilarious. I wouldn't do that. That would be a falsehood. Okay, so first stream in a while. Back again on the saddle. I'm glad to be back with all of you. But I think right now, for my first stream back, I'm going to cut it off a little early. Though we did have a lot of cool people show up. Like, everyone who showed up. Everyone here who's here. Take the time right now to enjoy the rest of your afternoon. If you haven't watched it yet, watch my new video on the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful movies by Tim Burton. As mentioned at the top of this video, at the top of this stream, we will be having a delay in Friday's video because it's going to take a little while to make. Expect it maybe this weekend or if not slightly later. And that topic will be revealed at a later date. But thank you so much. I plan on making regular streams again. Next week, we'll be joined by a special guest. One who has reached out to me to stream already a while back, and we will. And we'll be discussing a different hatedom that exists out there and is spreading misinformation about various YouTubers. But streams are back. My son is downstairs right now waiting for me to show up. Probably wondering why I'm not there to hold him with something. Up and super chat.
Cassie Hosh super chatted 93 cents. Unrelated fun fact. There's also a big amount of Italian people in Brazil.
Yeah.
The reasons are a little iffy, but there's that.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome back.
Yeah, they jumped ship there for a reason. One I'm not going to deem with a respectful answer, but they did jump there for a reason. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for showing up today. Next week, we continue the journeys that we started off before. And I want to just thank everyone for taking the time to keep watching. It means a lot to me. It really does. And I'm glad everyone's here. And yeah, let's keep going, guys. Have a good one. Take care.